絆。Hey, you just grooving 絆でクラップ。さのさの男も女も誰でも踊り明かせばいいだけによさこい体シェイキンシェイキンシェイキン揺らせば乗るかそのかは君次第大体のことなら全部大したことはないぜ夢に身を任せ君に背も任せ世界中で踊れ飲み明かせ祭りの渡り合わせてそのままで歌え組み交わせ友と心で遊べよ泣いても笑ってても夜は明け続ける今宵は秋生で踊ろう絆に身を任せ宴は終わることを知らない誰かの悲しみが流れるまで宴は終わることを知らないあなたが笑顔になるまで宴観覧台止まらない悲しみを飲み干して宴観覧台終わらない最後笑い合えるまであの目には映らなくとも心にキスだカンアバイあかんなんだバイそう分かっけどやめられないカンアバイあかんアンドバイもうそれでいいんじゃないよさこいやらなきゃダメダメこっちの浄化でよっちょれよっちょれアホで結構さカンアバイあかんアバイあかんアバイあかんアンドバイ
Thank you to the Kizuna International Team for their Yosakoi dance. Give it up for them. Ahead of today's game, the Maple Leafs would like to acknowledge that the land we are meeting on today is the traditional territory of many First Nations people, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabeg, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples. It is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. At this time, we ask that if you are able to please rise and remove your hats for the singing of our national anthem.
Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us commend, car ton bras c'est porter l'épée, il sait porter la croix. Ton histoire est une épopée des plus brillants exploits. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for
Good job, man. Thank you very much.
Oh, welcome to Toronto Maple Leafs baseball on YouTube. Beautiful night here at Christie Pitts. It's Friday Night Lights. Thomas West here alongside Zach Benoit as the Toronto Maple Leafs get set to take on the BARRIE BAYCATS in the first of a two-game home stretch here for the Maple Leafs. 2 days in a row they'll be right here at Christie Pitts. So lots of baseball coming up here in Toronto. And last time out for the Toronto Maple Leafs, it was a good one. After the team was on a little bit of a losing skid, they went into Welland, and man, they gained some momentum in Welland again. A 4-2 win, a unbelievable start by Josh Berenbaum, who won 6 innings, did not give up a run, and then the bullpen did the rest. Some good days at the plate from some of the Toronto Maple Leafs as well. With more on this one, here's Noam Striper.
Thank you so much, Thomas. The Leafs were able to get back into the win column on Tuesday night with a decisive 4-2 victory over the first-place Welland Jackfish. This victory came in large part thanks to Josh Berenbaum, who pitched 6 innings of shutout ball while striking out 5 against an elite Welland Jackfish lineup. Berenbaum talked post-game about his ability to stay calm and composed on the mound and give his teammates the chance to fight back into that ball game. And they did just that, with John Javier picking up 2 RBIs on 2 base hits on the night, Nathan Cura coming in for 2 innings of shutout relief, and Luis Florentino bending but not breaking in the bottom of the 9th inning, allowing 2 runs but able to collect the save to propel the Leafs to the victory. Tonight, with Alvarado and Brown available, they'll look for that same full team effort to get over the hump against the defending champion BARRIE BAYCATS. That's all from me. I'll send it back to the booth. Thanks, Thomas.
Well, thank you very much, Noam. And Josh Berenbaum, Zach, man, he was fantastic last time out against the Welland Jackfish. You almost need a start where you give up no runs over 6 innings to beat that team. They've been so good this season, and that's what Josh Berenbaum gave them.
Well, I mean, he's been really good all season. You look at it, the ERA sitting just under 4, 3 wins, 29 and a third innings pitched, 32 strikeouts. But the key thing that I'm seeing, 5+ innings in each of his last 4 starts. That says a lot about Josh Berenbaum. And really, you know, once we get to the dog days of the season, that's the kind of stuff you're going to need out of a starting pitcher. And he just kind of delivers day in, day out. He has a really professional approach. And, yeah, it was just immaculate, really, against the Welland Jackfish.
So that kind of would be the story of the day if the Toronto Maple Leafs didn't just make a big splash in the signing market, bringing in another import in Franklin Hernandez. This is a guy who was just so good for the Toronto Maple Leafs back in the 2022 season, has lots of professional baseball experience as well, a draft pick in Major League Baseball too in the later rounds back in 2018, and Franklin Hernandez kind of willed the Toronto Maple Leafs out of the bullpen to an IBL Finals appearance back in 2022. And when we got to the finals, he ended up pitching in 5 of the 6 games, which I thought was just so impressive. So needless to say, this is a big signing for the Maple Leafs and a guy that's going to really help them out, whether it be in the starting rotation or in the bullpen.
Yeah, you never can have too much pitching, and especially when you can get a guy like Franklin Hernandez, who he's shown dominance in the league before. He's a dominant pitcher just all around. it's going to be really interesting to see how they utilize him going down this next stretch of games. And, really, what is he going to bring to this team? Anytime you can get a fresh arm come to your squad, it's always going to be a bonus.
On the pitching side for this game today, the Toronto Maple Leafs have Matt Brown on the bump. He's going to get the start today, and Matt Brown, a big imposing presence on the mound for the Maple Leafs, standing at 6'4", 240 pounds, and a guy who's got some good stuff as well. Last pitched in a couple innings against London. That came just I guess it was last week in a 6-3 loss the Toronto Maple Leafs took. Gave up a couple of earned runs over those 2 innings, but 2 innings is more than what the Toronto Maple Leafs are expecting today from Matt Brown. They would love him to get deep into this game if they can, and I think we're just kind of scratching the surface of what we've seen from Matt Brown. He's a guy who, if the Maple Leafs can get him going today, he's going to be a big force for them. Yeah,
and he looked pretty good his last time out. Obviously a little bit of the roughs, like you said, against London, but why not have him start here? You still have good arms behind him. You mentioned, you heard Noam talk about it in the pregame that Willie Alvarado, he is also available to come into this game. So Brown, just go out there, execute your game plan, really stay away from this power inside these Barrie Baycats.
And Juan Benitez on the other side, it kind of felt like he was the third of the 3 big starters on the Barrie Baycats last season in their championship run. Well, this year it feels like he's kind of moving his way up the pecking order, does it? Last time out against the Brantford Red Sox was just dominant. Gave up just 1 earned run over 7 innings, struck out 3 batters over that stretch. Has an ERA of just over 3 on the season. But this is a really tough test for the Toronto Maple Leafs lineup today that's playing a little bit shorthanded, and they're playing against a guy who's got some really good stuff.
Yeah, and he's only allowed 2 earned runs in each of his 4 last starts. And, he's a dominant force. You said it. When you looked at this Barrie Baycats team last year, you'd always have those big 3, and you'd pencil him in probably around that 3rd spot. He says, hold on, don't forget about me. As like you said, he's making his way up that pecking order. He's really becoming a dominant arm in this Barrie Baycats rotation, and it's going to be interesting to see, like you said, how this short-staffed Toronto Maple Leaf squad is going to execute against Benitez.
This is the lineup for the Barrie Baycats today. Noel McGarry Doyle is playing center field. He's leading things off, and batting second is Brandon Hernandez, the shortstop. Clayton Keys is the DH. He's been great of late. He's in the number 3 spot. Playing first base is Nolan Macabroda, batting cleanup, and then in left field is Tristan Clark. Willie Garcia, the former Chicago White Sox, he's in right field. Then the bottom 3 in the order, the third baseman, Noah Hull. Tyler Plumpton, who's back behind the plate this season for the Barrie Baycats, he's catching. And then batting ninth is the second baseman and newly signed Alex Wickett, who has been really impressing of late, has really been impressing the Barrie Baycats management staff of late as well. And this Barrie team, they came in against the Maple Leafs last time they were here, had a pretty decisive victory, and the Maple Leafs want to shut down this lineup, give up a lot less than, 17 runs they gave up last time against the Barrie Baycats, and just have a more clean game today.
Yeah, and really, just kind of go back to the fundamentals. This is still a very good team. And I think when you look at 1 through 7 of the IBL, it's anybody's game to take that top spot. Obviously, Welland are always going to be threatening up there, but the Leafs, they've beaten Welland twice. So that says a lot really about how competitive the IBL is this year. So you really can't count them out in any given day.
Let's take a look at lineup for the Toronto Maple Leafs as well. Ryan Dos Santos is going to lead things off for the home side, and then batting second is Dan Mara, who continues to be a steady bat in the lineup for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He's playing second base. John Javier in the 3 spot, a spot that we're seeing him recently for the Maple Leafs. He's going to be the catcher today, which moves Justin Mara, who's batting cleanup, to first base. Dennis DeBanning is in right field. Kaleo Shaw is in center. Then the bottom 3 in the order, Connor Lewis, who's the DH, Zach Lamprey at shortstop. In left field, Ben Sidorenios for the side of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, if you're looking at that lineup, yes, the Toronto Maple Leafs are a little bit shorthanded today. They've got big guys like Jordan Castaldo and Marcus Connect out of the lineup. Connect just dealing with a little bit of an injury, but according to the Toronto Maple Leafs, they're not too worried about him. Hopefully he can get back in the lineup soon. So a little bit of a maintenance day for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and if they can pull off a win here against the Barrie Baycats, who have surpassed them in the Intercounty Baseball League standings, that would be a statement win for this Toronto team.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the players, they understand how this season has gone. There's been a lot of ups. There's been a lot of downs. It's a roller coaster effect when you look at how the season's gone. But, they can come out here short-staffed against a team in the Barrie Baycats that started off slow and have been playing a really good brand of baseball lately. Like you said, big statement win for this Maple Leafs team.
Yeah, if they can get it. And, I mean, you also think, too, like, I mean, there is a good opportunity for some of these guys in the lineup. You look at Zach Lamprey, he's just kind of been filling in at every different position for the Toronto Maple Leafs today. Maybe at the most important one he started at all year as the shortstop. He can probably earn some playing time, too. Gets a couple hits today. If he can play some good defense at shortstop. As we know, Rando Moreno is inactive for the Toronto Maple Leafs, dealing with a little bit of an injury right now. He might be able to earn himself some playing time as well. Yeah,
and like you said, a lot of the guys that are gone down with injuries right now, this is a good chance for some of those bench players, those role players to step up and try to carve themselves a role on this team.
First pitch here from Matt Brown, the starting pitcher for the Maple Leafs, and it's ripped foul by Noel McGarry-Doyle up onto the hillside.
One of the biggest things that we've preached really all year about this Leaf squad, the versatility in players. John Javier is the one that really comes to mind, being able to play infield, outfield, and behind the plate. Look at third base, Ryan Dos Santos able to shift over there on the infield. Zach Lamprey, like you said, being able to play shortstop today, usually second baseman or third baseman.
Foul tip there at the plate by Noel McGarry-Doyle, who's the center fielder for the Barrie Baycats today. Noel McGarry-Doyle hasn't played a lot for the Baycats to start the season. It was a bit of a late addition, but in the 41 at-bats he's had, he's hitting .439. So needless to say, a threat in this Baycat lineup. Here's the 0-2 pitch from Matt Brown. And it's in the dirt, blocked by Javier. That's the one thing you'll see from John Javier. He's got a lot of energy back there behind the plate. Doesn't matter if there's runners on base or not. He'll stick to the fundamentals. Even though he plays at so many different positions, he's always getting down to block that ball and give his pitcher some confidence. The 1-2. Line drive into the outfield and down for a base hit. Noel McGarry-Doyle slices it down the line. A little bit of trouble for Citarenios in the outfield. That's going to allow McGarry-Doyle to get to second base, and he's going to lead off with a double.
Yeah, that was roped down that left field line by McGarry-Doyle, and he rounded first, saw that Citarenios was having a little bit of trouble coming up with that baseball, and he just kind of took off for second. Heads up base running on the side of Barrie.
Noel McGarry-Doyle has a lot of speed. I think he was going for second base regardless of how that ball was fielded in the outfield. Either way, it's a runner in scoring position for the Barrie Baycats, and it's a double with nobody out in the inning. And now this one sliced down the line, dropping foul into the Maple Leafs bullpen. This is Brandon Hernandez at the plate. Hernandez hitting an even .300 on the season for the Baycats. The only earned runs that Matt Brown has given up came in his last outing against London. 2 of them in the 2 innings he pitched. Before that was perfect for this Maple Leafs team. The 0-1. This one's popped up. Is it going to stay in play? Ryan Dos Santos sprinting over there, and it's in no man's land out there near the members lounge in left field.
Yeah, and that's a tough play to make for a third baseman, really, especially with how we have the bullpen set up down the line. You got to go, you're running on flat ground, you get to the bullpen, your feet are kind of out from underneath you a little bit with the little rise of the mound. But like you said, no man's land there for that play.
Yeah, if he hit it anywhere else, one of Lamprey, Dos Santos, or Citarenios probably would have had a play on it, but that one was just out of everyone's reach. Matt Brown, though, can find some solace in the fact that it's 0-2 on a tough hitter in Hernandez. Here's the pitch. Just inside. John Javier looks skyward as he vehemently tried to frame that one and pull it back in the strike zone.
Yeah, you said it. Javier plays with a lot of energy behind the plate. I just think he plays in general with a lot of energy. A guy that just loves playing baseball.
What a player he is, batting over .400 on the season among the league leaders in that category. So the count's 1-2. Here's the pitch from Matt Brown. Just outside.
And I don't mind going low and away there. Hernandez, he looks like he's trying to get something inside. Just fighting off everything that Brown is pitching to him here on the other half.
A home run and 13 RBIs for Brandon Hernandez on the season. He's got number 14 sitting out there on the base path if he can get one into the outfield. McGarry-Doyle has great speed. The 2-2 fouled off. Matt Brown climbing the ladder there on the 2-2 pitch.
Well, partner, why not? You know, second batter of the game, have a little bit of a battle here. This is a really good at-bat being put up here by Brandon Hernandez.
On deck is Clayton Keys, batting .235 on the year. Another 2-2 pitch here to Hernandez. Long look in from Matt Brown. Now he gets the sign. The 2-2 pitch is tapped on the ground. This one's to second base. Dan Mara has it, throws it over to first. That does allow McGarry Doyle to advance to third base.
And by no means so far has Brown pitched bad. Really, it was just McGarry Doyle taking a really good pitch on the outside half the opposite way, giving the extra base hits, but then soft contact right there by Hernandez.
So here's Clayton Keys, the DH for Barrie. Takes a first pitch breaking ball outside. Clayton Keys played his first game of the season in his IBL career on June 24th, a recent signing by this Baycats team. Had a hit in his first game, but has slowed down a little bit production-wise at the plate as he takes a strike on the inner half.
He's filling in that DH role that usually has Ryan Rio's name penciled in there, but we've heard the news that he's going to be missing some time here.
Yeah, Ryan Rio was on pace to have a career year in the Intercounty Baseball League with the numbers that he was putting up with the Baycats. The 1-1's fouled off, and that's saying something because he's had some really good years in the Intercounty Baseball League. Felt like all that momentum for Rio kind of started in the playoffs last year, really picked it up production-wise, and came into this season playing really well.
Yeah, and by no means do I mean this in a way of anything bad, but I think the Leafs are happy not to see Rio in the lineup. He is a dangerous hitter whenever he's playing here at Christie Pitts.
For sure. Another 2-strike pitch for Matt Brown. This one's hitting the air pretty well. Back goes to Banning, and it's off the wall. That's going to score a run, and it'll be a long single for Keys, and it's 1-0 Baycats.
Just taking on a rope, and smart play by DeBanding not to try to make a play at the wall, but to just let it allow play off of it and get the ball back in quickly. You hold Keys, like you said, to a really long single.
Yeah, that ball never hit the ground. It bounced off the wall and then right into DeBanding's glove. He played it perfectly, but Keys got the job done. He hit that ball really hard. Now with 1 out, there's a runner on first base. Matt Brown has been filling up the strike zone. 10 strikes, 4 balls so far. This one's fouled off. There's another strike. It's Nolan Macabrota who's the batter, the cleanup hitter, having a great year, hitting .351 this season.
So far, I'm liking how Brown is pitching. He's not being afraid. He understands, you know, we have a short bench tonight. Just got to attack some of these hitters and let them put it in play.
Here's the 0-1. Check swing, called a strike. I watched Nolan Macabrota compete at the Home Run Derby last year in Welland and really showed off that fantastic power. Boy, he's a big dude at the plate, and the ball just pops off his bat. No doubt he'll be part of the festivities again this year, this time in Hamilton. That pitch was inside. Another 2-strike count, though, for Matt Brown. He's done a good job getting ahead of these Baycat hitters. It's just about putting them away. Macabrota, the native of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. The 1-2. Popped up on the infield. Actually, that was off home plate, so the throw to first to record the out. Man, did you know that ball was off home plate? I thought it was just a little pop-up. Instead, he hammered it off the ground, and I mean hammered it straight into the ground, and he's out at first base.
Yeah, he made contact, and you could just hear how hard it hit home plate by just how high it bounced up. Quick hands, though, over there at shortstop by Zach Lamprey.
Yeah, it's kind of a hopeless feeling when that ball's in the air. You're just waiting for it to go down, and you see the runner getting closer and closer to first base. But no panic in Zach Lamprey, and he makes the play. Still a runner in scoring position, though, and it's Tristan Clark. And Clark fouls off the first pitch. Has every Baycat swung at the first pitch so far in this game?
They have been very aggressive early on. I believe so.
Yeah, there might have been one or two batters, but they have realized that Matt Brown is starting off these counts with a lot of strikes. The 0-1. Inside corner, strike two. Another 0-2 count.
Yeah, and that's just a beautiful pitch right there. You can see how he crossed up Clark. He gave him something fast on the outside half, and he comes inside with that backdoor slider. And you just completely cross up the hitter because he's thinking far out over the plate.
Can he find the put-away pitch here against Tristan Clark? Almost. Just missed upstairs.
Right move again, Clark. He's looking for something out over the plate. You jam him up like that, he can't get that bat extended. Those arms are going to stay close to the body. Can't get a lot of power.
The Baycats won their last game 12-2 against the Guelph Royals. Tristan Clark was 2 for 3 with a couple runs scored and a couple driven in. The 1-2 from Brown. Swinging a tapper foul right back to the Baycat dugout. In fact, the on-deck batter, Willie Garcia, caught that ball on the way by. He pimped it a little bit, too.
Catching it with style.
Yeah, for sure. Tristan Clark trying to drive in the second Barrie Baycat run. Brown trying to put him away, but can't do it quite yet. Another pitch fouled off.
A lot of these swings this at bat, they look like defensive swings. Clark, he's waiting for one pitch, but he's doing a really good job getting the bat inside the zone quickly. If you're Brown, you either got to sky one high and inside or just go low and away.
Well, he went with the breaker, just missed high. Tristan Clark hitting .320 on the season for the Baycats. The 2-2. Low and away. 3-2.
And that's the right pitch to make. You just try to bury that slider low and away like that. It's just tough with the breaking ball that finished high and in.
Noah Hull on deck, hopeful of an at-bat. This is a big 3-2 pitch here in the first inning from Matt Brown, and it's up and in, ball 4. It was close, but Tristan Clark will take his base, and here comes Noah Hull.
Really good discipline at the plate there. Those were some great pitches by Brown. The breaker at the top of the zone, thought it would have caught, finishing down, but just couldn't get it down.
Noah Hull spent some time with the UMary Marauders in the NCAA's Division II. Had a really good season back in 2024. Actually, this is Willie Garcia who's at the plate now. Hull is the on-deck batter. Willie Garcia made a big splash for the Barrie Baycats when he signed. Very few players in the Intercounty Baseball League have spent time and as much time as Willie Garcia has in the major leagues. The 1-0 pitch in there for a strike, 1-1. So Matt Brown finally fell behind a hitter and came right back and made a good pitch.
I thought you were going to say that Willie Garcia made a splash, making a nice grab on deck.
Yeah, he did do that as well. The 1-1 hit on the ground to first, and it skips by Justin Mara. And it also skips by Dennis DeBanning, so a run is going to come in to score, and it's 2-0 Barrie.
Yeah, a lot of opposite field hits early on in this game. Top spin on that ball to Mara. Thought he can kind of play it on the short hop. Just got underneath it a little bit.
Yeah, that was going to have to be a heck of a pick by Justin Murray might have just got caught a little bit in no man's land where he was coming in, trying to field that ball on the high hop, and then ended up having to pick it and just got a glove on it. Brian Sewell out to the mound for the Maple Leafs. He's going to chat with Matt Brown and try and help him through this first inning. I was talking to Justin Mara about Will Hennis Alvarado's start last time he was here at Christie Pitts, and Alvarado, his line really didn't look good, but it felt like he pitched a little bit better than the numbers suggested. And I mean, the same kind of goes for Matt Brown. You know, he would have liked to have that play made at first base to get out of the inning, but also unlucky for the Maple Leafs that Justin Mara had to come in and try and short hop that baseball. He's got ahead of hitters, and he's probably thinking out there on the mound, what am I doing wrong?
Yeah, you're staying in the zone, and as a pitcher, you know, this is the time you just got to continue to stick to your game plan because you're making your pitches. You can't try to change anything up and get too fancy.
Runner on the move from first base, that's Willie Garcia. He'll take second. Borderline defensive indifference there from the Maple Leafs. That might have been something that was discussed on the mound when Brian Sewell came out. The 0-1 pitch, fouled off.
Again, I like this out of Brown. You know, that play at first happens. You don't deteriorate. You stick to your game plan here, and you're right back to another count of 0-2.
It's a big get if he can retire Noah Hull here. There's two in scoring position. The 0-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, strike three. That's a big punch out from Matt Brown, but two come in to score in the inning. So it's the Barrie Baycats who take the early lead, and the Toronto Maple Leafs will have their say coming up in half an inning.
Get ready, Hamilton. It's the 2025 IBL Home Run Derby and All-Star Game. Hosted by the Hamilton Cardinals at beautiful Bernie Arbor Stadium. Watch the league's top sluggers crush moonshots in the Derby. Then see the best of the best go head-to-head under the lights in the All-Star Game. Grab your tickets now at HamiltonCardinals.com because this summer, the stars shine brightest in Hamilton.
To be the best, you've got to ring performance from every second. The game is getting faster every season. So Rawlings made a time machine to help you keep up. Introducing the all-new Velo ACP. It's light, it's balanced, so you can pick your pitch and drive the ball with maximum exit velocity. The game's gotten faster. Your bat has too.
Back here in Toronto is Ryan Dos Santos, who's going to lead things off for the Maple Leafs, facing Juan Benitez, whose first pitch is in there for strike one.
And we highlighted it so much, Benitez, just how good he's been in the IBL, and well, it seems like he just continues to get better, and as this year has gone on, he has gotten better.
Dos Santos takes strike two. Two perfectly placed pitches from Juan Benitez. Benitez an ERA of 3.19 coming into the start, and 30 innings pitched for this Baycats team this year. Misses outside with that pitch to Ryan Dos Santos. He struck out 22 batters so far this season. The 1-2. Now Santos fouls it off.
And again, we always talk about it, how good it is to have, you know, 1 or 2 guys that are really good pitchers in the IBL. Barrie having 3, it's just a 3-headed monster, really. And come playoff time, that's huge.
The 1-2 pitch hit on the ground and through into the outfield for a base hit. Ryan Dos Santos, as he does so often, gets on base to start the ball game.
Good compact swing, too, pulling it through the hole on the right side.
Second baseman, number 6, Dan Mora.
So that's going to bring Dan Mara to the plate, hitting an even 300 on the season. A lot of contact out of the bat of Dan Mara. I wonder if they do the hit and run here with the speedy Ryan Dos Santos on base. First pitch to Mara, outside, ball 1.
Keeping an eye over there at first. It's a healthy lead by Dos Santos.
Dan Mara has hits in 3 straight games coming into today. Dos Santos goes, and the hit and run was on. Ryan Dos Santos is going to head to third base. Perfectly played by the Toronto Maple Leafs as Brian Sewell puts on the stop sign at third. There was a little bit of trouble in the outfield there with Willie Garcia fielding that ball. I thought maybe Ryan Dos Santos might take a chance at home plate, but with nobody out in the inning and their best hitter in John Javier coming to the plate, the Maple Leafs find themselves in a good position.
Only thing I got to ask Mr. West is, what are the lottery tickets for tomorrow? Because what a call out of you right there.
Thanks. I watched a lot of Maple Leafs baseball.
Read the film perfectly right there. But that's exactly what you want to do. Dan Mara, I mean, one of, if not the best contact hitter on the Maple Leafs. He understands the situation, and he does it perfectly.
A lot of contact out of John Javier, a lot of swings out of John Javier, which you'd think swing yet pitches all the time would be a bad formula, but not when you're as talented as John Javier. The 0-1 pitch, he swings at it, he hits it to short. He's going to have to hustle to first base. Ryan Dos Santos comes in to score. It's a double play, but the Toronto Maple Leafs are on the board. It's 2-1.
He hit it hard again, but this time just couldn't get underneath the ball. It got on top of it a little bit.
Yeah, John Javier's got a big swing, too. He swings the bat really hard. If you look at him, he keeps his head down on the ball, but as soon as he comes through with that swing, like he's Scotty Schefflering it at the plate, if you will.
Just a big, big swing.
So that'll bring Justin Mara to the plate. Mara takes ball 1. The 1-0 pitch. Mara way out in front, swings through it. He was looking for something else, and actually, that wasn't the problem. I think Justin Mara's hands just completely slipped off the bat there, so he's going to...
Just got to get some more tar on the bat.
Yeah, a little extra
pine tar. That or the Rawlings bat spray, if they have that down there in the dugout.
Yeah, I think Mara went with the pine tar. He was rubbing along the barrel. The 1-1. Outside, 2-1. Well, Mara's working the count here, takes another close pitch, and it's 3-1.
It's a really good take. That's a tough pitch to lay off of, and Mara just does not bite it whatsoever. Trying to force Benitez to come inside.
The 3-1 pitch misses as well. All in the same spot in those last two. Mara heads down to first base. And this has been what's happening for Justin Mara. He was struggling a little bit at the plate. And then if you look over the last 2 weeks or so, Mara's getting a couple hits, but the big thing is getting on base. He's seeing the ball really well, and that continues here.
And we know the damage he can do when he's swinging really well, but the fact you add in the really good eye at the plate, it's just a dangerous hitter all around.
Demanding takes low, ball 1, and Juan Benitez is starting to fall behind some Maple Leafs hitters. Mara going. Hit and run was on again. This ball smashed into the outfield, and that gets down. Justin Mara making the turn, and he's coming home. The throw to the plate is cut off, and Justin Mara scampers back to third base. Boy, Justin Mara took a wide turn there at third, and then decided to put on the brakes when he saw he was probably going to be out at home.
Yeah, credit Willie Garcia over there in right field. He got that ball back in quickly. He went for the play. It tipped off of his glove, turned around, played it one hopped off the fence, and just fired a bullet back into second base. Nothing Mara could have done coming around, but Dennis DeBanning, great swing on an inside pitch, takes it the other way. That's exactly what you want to do with something like that. If you're able to inside out the ball with that kind of power and tail, it's a really good swing off the bat.
And that is the A swing from Dennis DeBanning. When he's hitting the ball the other way like that, that's when you know Dennis DeBanning is going good. If you look back to the beginning of the season, he hit 2 home runs, both of them to opposite field on a pitch just like that.
Yeah, it's something that I like to call easy power. It's just if you have just that natural power to go the other way, hit line drives, the power, it goes to all fields.
The 0-1 for Kaleo Shaw. This one's tapped on the ground. This is going to be a tough play. Long throw to first base in time. Protested by Kaleo Shaw running down the bag. Brandon Hernandez gunned that ball over the first base. It was picked by Nolan Macabroda. Toronto Maple Leafs, everyone protesting as they thought they had tied the ball game. But the way it's going to go down, a great play from Hernandez at short, and the pick by Nolan Macabroda. The Maple Leafs will have to settle for 1 in the first. It's 2-1, Barrie Baycats. Tyler Plumpton leading things off for the Baycats as Justin Mara, or John Javier, sorry, is out to the mound to chat with Matt Brown, but also I think he needed a little bit of rosin on his hand in case he had to throw a ball to a base. So he's going to get back behind the plate. See if Matt Brown can get a bounce back inning here for the Maple Leafs. Got ahead of a lot of hitters, did a lot of things right in the first inning, but gave up 2 runs. And the Maple Leafs came back with 1, so tight ball game with both teams scoring in the first. First pitch ball.
And obviously, you know, the Leafs wish that third out call went their way, but if you're Matt Brown, you got to feel pretty okay that your team was able to answer back and at least get 1 back, cut that 2-run lead in half.
This one's hit on the ground to third. Diving stop, Dos Santos throws to first. Justin Mara puts on the tag. How about that?
Maybe not the most conventional way to get across a diamond throw, but hey, it works. But what a grab, diving over there in the hot corner. They call it that for a reason. Laying it out all on the line is Dos Santos.
He's got a big smile on his face over there at third base. Hasn't played a lot of third base as a member of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Heck of a diving stop. Throw good enough to get the runner plumped in over there at first base. Justin Marr really fought for that one too, didn't he?
Yeah.
He went and got the ball, knew he had to take his foot off the bag, but didn't panic. Just went and put the tag on him.
And partner, I can't tell from up here or not, but the glove that Dos Santos is sporting, he lost one of his gloves back in November.
Oh, he's going to jump for this one, but a Christie hop gets over his head. And that'll be a one-out single for Wicket.
But just go back to that point really quick. He lost his infielder's glove back in about September, October time, and he got an email. I got an email as well. I think management got an email saying, hey, we found a glove with the name Ryan Santos on it. And he was finally reunited with his infield glove. Not sure if that was the one that was being used there for the diving stop, but funny little story.
That's good stuff. We'll have to ask him about that after the game.
Glove's name, Chloe.
That's good too. Oh man, got all the scoops. Actually, Dos Santos has all the scoops. They're all right. That's enough.
Good try.
Thanks. Back to the leadoff hitter, Noel McGarry-Doyle. Pick throw over to first base, pretty close. But in safely is Wicket. It's Alex Wicket who's over there at first base. He got himself a single, so he's now batting .429 on his short season. McGarry-Doyle got on base via a single in his first at-bat. Actually a double, sorry, in his first at-bat. Hit it down the line. The 1-0 pitch, McGarry-Doyle fouls it off.
You hear the audible gasp? Well, it's because that smoked a car parked on the road.
Oh, I saw in the IBL Facebook group that someone got their windshield.
I did see that too, yeah.
Yeah. Not a good day for cars in the parking lot.
That's why I park a block away.
The 1-1 in the dirt. That one's picked by Javier. He had a look over at first base. No, you park a block away because you couldn't find anywhere closer.
That's usually what the main reason is. Yeah. It's a long drive coming from Mississauga. All right, got me some slack there.
It's a busy spot here on Friday nights here in Toronto. The 2-1 pitch, foul straight back. Good rip by McGarry-Doyle.
And McGarry-Doyle, another at bat where he's seeing a lot of stuff outside and away. And in his first at bat, he took a line shot out to left field. And you see early on here, it's a lot of foul offs towards that left field line.
Two-two pitch. This one's hit into the outfield, and that one's going to get down for a single. Runner's going to come to third. That's all. So it's first and third for the Barrie Baycats in the top of the second inning. Another hit from Noel McGarry-Doyle. And the Baycats are threatening again with one out in the second.
And that's just doing a job. McGarry-Doyle, he gets jammed a little bit on the inside by Brown, and he has enough strength to just take it right over the head of the second baseman. They also were playing a little bit of hit-and-run baseball. The Leafs were doing it in the first, so Barrie said, why not give it a try?
So this hit on the ground, right back up the middle. Flip to second for one. On to first. Plenty of time for the double play. The double play tandem up the middle with Dan Mara and Zach Lamprey, and it gets the Maple Leafs out of the inning. That was a big one turned by Toronto. 2-1 Barrie Baycats as we head to the bottom of the second.
Get ready, Hamilton. It's the 2025 IBL Home Run Derby and All-Star Game. Hosted by the Hamilton Cardinals at beautiful Bernie Arbor Stadium. Watch the league's top sluggers crush moonshots in the Derby. Then see the best of the best go head-to-head under the lights in the All-Star Game. Grab your tickets now at HamiltonCardinals.com, because this summer, the stars shine brightest in Hamilton.
Back here at Christie Pitts. First pitch from Benitez in there for a strike. Connor Lewis is the batter. He's the DH today. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Lewis takes outside, 1-1.
What is it then?
Lewis takes another one outside, 2-1. So Juan Benitez looked like he was going to be in a lot of trouble in the first inning. Runners on first and third, nobody out. He got a double play, which scored a run, and then got out of the inning after a great play by Hernandez at shortstop. But if you ask the Toronto Maple Leafs, they would say that Cleo Shaw was safe at first base. The call was heavily protested by everyone in the Toronto Maple Leafs dugout, but it got them out of the inning, the Baycats. So that's why we're sitting here at 2-1 Barrie. Lewis trying to get on here in the second. Fouls another one off.
But it's the last half inning. That's just a really good inning for the Maple Leafs because you get some momentum back on your side. No runs scored. Brown goes out, gets the contact that he wants, those weak ground balls. And I think he's really kind of just playing into that right now in the start, and it's really good. It's working for him.
The 2-2 pitch. Skied straight up by Connor Lewis. Playable on the infield. Who's going to call it? It will be the second baseman, Alex Wickett, who comes in and makes the catch. Alex Wickett just recently committed to Judson University and the NAIA. He's playing at Marshalltown Community College, then just back in June, committed to play in the NAIA. So good for him.
Some good baseball in the NAIA.
Yeah.
A lot of people seem to always sleep on it because obviously the big thing is NCAA D1. Like NAIA, they have some really good ball players there.
Yeah, Wickett, he's not the biggest guy out there in stature. I think he stands at 5'8", but that doesn't let him affect him at all. He's a really talented hitter, and he's had a really good start with this Barrie Baycat team. This is Zach Lamprey, who's at the plate now for the Maple Leafs. 2 for 17 on the season. The 1-2, check swing at first base. The call, no swing. Talked to a lot of players in the Intercounty Baseball League who haven't got regular playing time, and they said as soon as they started getting some starts, the switch just kind of flipped for them. They started hitting really well. Wonder if that might be the case for Zach Lamprey as well, as he takes outside. You get 4 at-bats. You don't have to come off the bench cold or come in as a defensive replacement. I think a really good example of that was last year, Charlie Towers. You know, he wasn't getting regular starting time. He got the role, got really hot, hit, I think, 1 month, almost 400. Swing and a miss there by Lamprey. That was a perfect pitch from Benitez, and he goes down swinging. So Ben Sidorenios comes to the plate. He's helped out the Toronto Maple Leafs in a couple different ways this season, whether it's playing in the outfield or on the mound for the Maple Leafs this season. He came in, signed as a two-way player, not something that just kind of happened. The Maple Leafs knew he had the ability to do both. And some of his best work actually came on the mound in a game against the Brantford Red Sox. Sidorenios flares this one into the outfield. He hit this one pretty well. It's down the line, and it's in there for a base hit. Ben Sidorenios digging for 2. Here's the throw. Not in time. Sidorenios slides in with a double.
First, got to credit Willie Garcia. Again, another really good throw from right field, but Sidorenios, he uses his speed, gets around, and puts himself in scoring position for the top of the order.
Yeah, it was a perfect throw, but Ben Sidorenios just beat it out. So that'll go down as the first IBL double for Sidorenios. And there you go, a guy who's got an opportunity to really show the Maple Leafs what he's got, maybe 4 or 5 at-bats today if he's lucky. And he's 1 for 1 with a double. Great start.
Yeah, you shorten up your swing right there, just poke it the other way.
He actually got a lot more of it than I thought. I mean, he hit that ball pretty well down the line. Ryan Dos Santos once again finds himself behind in the count, 0-2. Last time he worked Benitez for a single. Benitez trying to get out of the inning. Dos Santos takes just outside. Good tell by Ryan's reaction there at home place. He knew that was close.
He doesn't get cheated up there.
Yeah.
he knows his zone extremely well.
So it's 1-2 now. Dos Santos swings and misses, strike 3. Juan Benitez does get out of the inning. Toronto Maple Leafs strand 1 in scoring position. The Barrie Baycats lead 2-1 after 2. Good one last time out for the Barrie Baycats. A 12-2 win over the Guelph Royals. And it was kind of a bullpen day for them, Zach. They threw a couple different pitchers. Warden started them off, and then Adam Kahn kind of got the bulk role, and he was really good. Went 4 1/3. Did not give up a run in a dominant victory last time out for Barrie.
Yeah, and what a resurgence it's been for the Baycats from how the season started. You know, the last time they were here, jokingly said, you know, was it that championship hangover that you have where you start the next season a little bit slower than usual? Then they burst out for 17 runs against Toronto, and really ever since then, they've been playing a really good brand of baseball, and the brand of baseball we're used to seeing out of the Barrie Baycats.
So with that win, they're on a 4-game win streak, the Barrie Baycats are, and they're trying to extend it to 5 here against Toronto. The DH Keys leads things off for Barrie and takes strike 1. Clayton Keys had a hard hit single off the wall in his last at bat. Now he takes low and away, and the count's 1-1. Baycats have an interesting schedule in July. They alternate 1 home game, 1 road game perfectly all the way until July 30th.
Really?
Yeah. And I looked at that and I was thinking, I'm not actually sure that's a good thing, because that just means you have to travel more, right?
It's a lot of driving.
Yeah, stringing homes games together is a better thing than that, I think.
I feel like it'd be just very uncomfortable, you know? Team bus on the highway.
2-1 pitch in there. 2-2 to Keys. Just misses. You could tell John Javier wanted it.
He really wanted it.
So Matt Brown finds himself in a full count. This will be a good way to start the inning if he can get the tough hitter in Keys here. The 3-2. Chopped foul towards first. This is just at bat number 19 on the season for Clayton Keys. As he fouls it off again in a good battle here with Matt Brown. With that hit, he raised his batting average to .278. I think a guy that the Barrie Baycats expect can be one of those 300 hitting guys in the Inter-County Baseball League. Got him in the 3 spot today. Another 3-2 pitch from Brown. Swing and a miss, strike 3. What a pitch, and that's out number 1.
You can see Keys was sitting right there on the fastball and just completely crossed him up, went off speed.
So it's the big power hitting lefty in Nolan Macabrota at the plate. Home runs, he's got 3 of them this year with the Barrie Baycats. There are certainly easier places to hit home runs in Barrie as well. This time he cues one on the ground to third base. Go foul, says Ryan Dos Santos, and it will.
That just snuck in the base, but Dos Santos wisely touched it as soon as it crossed over the line in foul territory.
Dustin Richardson just threw that ball all the way back to the pitcher. He was the one who went and picked up that baseball. You could tell he was not loose yet to throw that ball. He started stretching immediately after he threw the ball.
Last time up, Mackie Broda, he hit that sky shot off of the home plate to shortstop Lamprey.
The 0-1 pitch in the dirt. It skips by Javier. Nolan Macabrota, after his 0-for-1 appearance at the plate today, still hitting .346 on the season. Pretty good for a power hitter. Did he go? Yes, says the umpire at third base. So Brown gets ahead in the count. Tristan Clark is on deck. Nolan Macabrota has driven in 20 runs this season for the Baycats. One of the best in the Inter-County Baseball League. And he swings and misses. Another perfect pitch from Matt Brown, and there's 2 away.
Brown is just mixing up the arsenal beautifully here this inning. Back-to-back strikeouts here.
Matt Brown got a big double play to get out of the second. Got through that frame scoreless. Now he's struck out the first 2 and the top of the third. Clark. A bounding ball up the middle and off second base and into center field. Had some weird spin on it, but Kaleo Shaw did a good job to keep it in front of him and hold Clark to a single.
Man, Tristan Clark, he's slowly becoming a Leafs killer. He just continues to put up good and tough at-bats against this pitching staff. We saw him do it in that blowout game. He had a really long at-bat in his first one when he worked the walk, eventually was stranded on third. But he's been really, really good against Toronto.
Yeah, had a home run in that game on June 11th that the Baycats won 17-7. And since then has gone on to hit 3 more, so now he's got 5 on the year. This is Willie Garcia, and he's taking a big swing at the first pitch there from Matt Brown, but came up empty. Willie Garcia is 0-for-1 today. The 0-1 pitch. Garcia hits this one in the air. This one's got some flight under it. Deep and a jumping cow. It came out of the glove of Dennis DeBanning. A run is going to come in to score. It was oh so close to an incredible catch out there by Dennis DeBanning, and it just popped out of the glove at the last moment. Yeah, that'll go down as a double for Willie Garcia.
Yeah, just overall, a really tough play. You go up against that wall, there's zero forgiveness on the metal mesh. He had it in his glove, and the impact of the wall, he tried to make a secondary play at it with his bare hand, but it just fell to the ground.
Yeah, he had that ball in his glove for a long time, and when the glove impacted the ground, it just popped out. And that's a big turning point for the Maple Leafs. It looked like they'd got a brilliant play out of Dennis DeBanning out there in right. Instead, it goes down as another run for the Barrie Baycats, who have extended the lead to 3-1. Here's Noah Hull. Takes a first pitch strike from Brown. Those are the ones that are frustrating for pitchers, because you get the first 2 outs in the inning, then you get a ground ball up the middle that was nowhere close to any infielders but goes for a base hit. If you're a pitcher, you're thinking you made a pretty good pitch there. And then that ball that nearly got him out of the inning. The catch by DeBanning. He's come back and got ahead 0-2 here on Hull. And he got him. Swing and a miss on a low pitch, caught by Javier, so no need to put the tag on him. Matt Brown strikes out the side in the third, but the Baycats get another one. It's 3-1. Well, since the last time these two teams have met, the Barrie Baycats have jumped the Toronto Maple Leafs in the standings, sitting at 4th right now in the Intercounty Baseball League, although the Maple Leafs have a couple games in hand on them. So they're thinking if they can win this game, get above 500, then they're right there with the Barrie Baycats, both with 11 wins on the season. The Welland Jackfish, although the Maple Leafs beat them last time out, still sitting in first place in the Intercounty Baseball League. Yeah, when you look at it, I mean, really, it's a lot tighter of a top 7 than we've seen in recent years. Usually, you know, we've seen teams like Welland. Last year it was Hamilton running away with it. This year, everyone's kind of seemed like they've all gotten better, and really the competition, it's a new level of high here. Yeah, and the Maple Leafs will be happy that they're better off at this time in the year than they were last year. For the Toronto Maple Leafs, I mean, I remember talking to Rob Butley. He said, you know, to be honest, we were kind of just battling for a playoff spot last year. It was a battle for last place, and that was something that the Maple Leafs were really disappointed in. But they're a little bit better this season, but they're not quite where they want to be. They want to be one of those top teams in the IBL, because in past years they said, you know, there's been a little bit of a vibe around the team where, you know, we'll just kind of wait till the playoffs and turn it on to the playoffs. And while that's worked for them in the past, this year they want to be good right away. Dan Mara gets into this ball. He hits it to left center field, but it's going to hang up there in center field. And that's out number 1. Noel McGarry Doyle is going to get to a lot of those balls if they have that much airtime out there in center. Dan Mara just missed that ball. He's shown a little bit of power this season as well. He's got a couple home runs this year.
I was going to say, you know, been here, what, I believe this is my 3rd season. Dan Mara, he's always just been the contact guy, the get on base, do that kind of dirty work. He's flexed the muscles this year.
Yeah. You know, when you put a good swing on the ball so many times like Dan Mara does, you're going to pull a few. And when you're hitting at Christie Pitts, some of them are going to go out.
Yeah, some of them will fly.
I talked to Dan Mara after he was on that little spree of hitting the 2 home runs, and he said he's never going to the plate trying to hit a home run. It just happens sometimes. This one's chopped to short. Throw to first in time. Boy, that ball was gunned over there by Brandon Hernandez.
Yeah, and Hernandez, he's already made one really good play tonight, and that really was just another one.
Yeah, Dan Mara told me, and I'm sure Justin, who's at the plate right now, might echo this sentiment. He said that he had a coach once when he was playing in college that said that home runs were just accidents. It was just the result of putting a good swing on the ball.
I don't know if you've noticed it, but Mr. Bobby Armstrong is running around this crowd with a make noise sign.
Nice, and they're making noise.
They're making noise.
Friday Night Lights, the party's on here in Toronto. Bobby's getting it started.
It's a Bobby Bush party.
Sure. 1-1 on Justin. Hits this one to center. Didn't quite get enough as Noel McGarry Doyle is there to make the catch. That will end the inning for the Toronto Maple Leafs. That was a quick one from Juan Benitez as he sets the Maple Leafs down in order. It's the Barrie Baycats who lead 3-1. Tyler Plumpton leading things off here for the Baycats. And he lines one right back up the middle. Kaleo Shaw is going to come in center field and field that baseball, and Plumpton has got himself a base hit to start the 4th inning.
And that one was just a shot right back up the middle. Nothing really Brown could do with that one.
Good start to the season for Tyler Plumpton. He's always been a good hitter in the Intercounty Baseball League, but he's got 11 hits in his first 27 at-bats. This is the number 9 hitter in Alex Wickett. He's the second baseman, and he takes outside. This is a big out for Matt Brown. Top of the order, on deck with McGarry, Doyle, Hernandez, and Keys. Pitch to Wickett, outside. Maple Leafs are hanging around in this game. They're a little bit short-handed today, but they've played well so far. As this one slashed down the line, foul into the Leafs dugout.
Bullpen, though.
Yeah.
We always applaud a good effort.
Yeah, you got to get this hitter here in Wickett, who it's been a tough out to start his IBL career. That pitch just misses outside. Tyler Plumpton is the runner over there at first base. This one's hit on the ground. Mara gets it, flips it to second for one, and Lamprey has no play at first base. That ball was just not quite hit hard enough, but the Maple Leafs will take the out with the top of the order coming up.
Yeah, not a bad choice, just a sacrifice for the out there. But gets tough here with Noel McGarry Doyle coming up. He has been red hot so far today.
Yeah, it's 2 for 2 on the day. Batting average up to .465. As soon as he's got enough at-bats to qualify, which might even be now, he'll be leading the league in that department. This one's hit on the ground again, a little bit sharper hit. Dan Mara flips to second. Lamprey whips to first, and it gets away from Justin Mara. But it's no harm for the Maple Leafs, as that one took a big bounce off the backstop and came right back to Mara.
Even if Mara made that play, I think McGarry Doyle, he was safe nonetheless. He was hustling right out of that box.
That was just a last-ditch effort there by Zach Lamprey at short, trying to put everything he possibly could into that baseball.
Yeah.
So another fielder's choice. Now there's 2 away in the inning, a little bit more manageable for the Maple Leafs. Brandon Hernandez at the dish. Hernandez takes strike 1. That's been the best pitch for Brown, hasn't it, today? A first pitch strike.
Yeah, that's been the key for him so far. It's just the first pitch strike every time.
Brandon Hernandez is 0 for 2 so far tonight. Pick throw back to first. Pretty close. Justin whipped the tag over there. The runner is Noel McGarry Doyle, who hit into the fielder's choice. He's absolutely a threat to steal a base.
He's getting off there quickly.
McGarry Doyle already has a stolen base this season. The 0-1 inside. Although I will say, sorry, Zach, McGarry Doyle has been caught stealing in each of the last 2 games, so he might be a little bit more hesitant to go with that stat in mind.
Just going to say, Taylor Lampard, he is warming up over there in the bullpen right now for the Maple Leafs.
Well, give McGarry Doyle credit. He knows exactly how far he can lead off of first base with the pickoff move of Brown. He's back in there by half an inch every single time. Brown's 1-1. McGarry Doyle going. This one's hit on the ground and through into the outfield. Past the diving Dan Mara. Throw comes back into the infield at third base. Oh, it took a huge hop, and Ryan Dos Santos had to leap to keep that ball after it almost took a very unfortunate bounce for the Maple Leafs off the infield.
Almost took one of those classic Christie hops with the lip of the grass over there at third.
So first and third, but this situation's still manageable for Matt Brown because there's 2 outs. You really got to get keys here, though. Maple Leafs down by a couple runs. Maybe Taylor Lepard comes in after 4. Brown hasn't gone more than 2 innings yet in the 3 outings he's had in the IBL.
It would be big for just the shutdown inning, like you said. You're already down by a few. You went 3 up, 3 down your last time up to bat, so this would be a big one just to shut the door here.
Good pitch. I don't know if Matt Brown would go another inning if he can get keys here. His pitch count's at 73 right now. .80 pitches seems to kind of be the magic number for these Maple Leaf starters of late when there's arms available down there in the bullpen. Josh Berenbaum, who had a great start over 6 innings, went 88 pitches in last game against Welland. The 1-1. That one finds the zone as well. John Javier points back out to his pitcher to acknowledge that Brown made exactly the pitch he was calling for.
He's hitting his spots here. Just love to see the weak contact on the ground.
Couple shakeoffs here from Brown. Now he gets the one he likes. The 1-2. Slashed into the outfield, down for a base hit. This is going to score another run for the Barrie Baycats, so they lead 4-1. It's an RBI single for Clayton Keys.
Yeah, Keys just shortened his swing down there beautifully and just got the hands inside the zone fast to shoot that one out into right field.
Yeah, he was a little bit late on that fastball. Looked like it was a little more on the inner half than it was the outer half, but he still found a way to touch some outfield grass. Big hit for the Baycats to open up a 3-run lead. Macabrota fouls this one off. So this probably means that it's Taylor Lepard coming in next. Lepard is in play today. Wilhenis Alvarado is very much in play for the Maple Leafs today, as well as Ayami Sato. Here's the 0-1 pitch. This one's tapped foul at home plate. I'm also told that there's plans that Franklin Hernandez will come in and make his Toronto Maple Leafs debut tomorrow. Not sure, though, if that's going to be out of a starter role. I know that's something that the Maple Leafs want to give Franklin Hernandez a try. He's traditionally been a reliever, but mostly like a 2-inning reliever when he was in the IBL back in 2022. Did a really good job of that. Something a team always needs. The 0-2 pitch. Just outside. A good comparison, I think, for Franklin Hernandez would be a guy on the other side of things right now for the Barrie Baycats in Carlos Sano.
Yeah.
Has the ability to go a couple innings, throws gas. He's got some good secondary pitches if he needs them.
Good presence on the mound.
Yeah, heavy fastball. The 1-2 pitch inside. Count now 2-2 on Macabrota. John Javier thought he'd rung him up on the pitch before. Then he went right back to the breaking ball. Brown missed inside. Now the count's level at 2s. Chopped slowly on the ground to second base. Danmar comes in, nearly collides with the runner, rips it over to first. What a play. Boy, Dan Mara had to deal with a lot to make that play, but he gets the Maple Leafs out of the inning. And a strong throw to first base as well. Another run tacked on by the Baycats. They've scored in 3 of the 4 innings today and lead 4-1. Over to Leafs. Welcome back to Christie Pitts here in Toronto. 4-1 lead for the visiting Barrie Baycats against the Toronto Maple Leafs on a Friday night. Beautiful evening for baseball, isn't it? Perfect temperature, not too hot, no wind.
23 degrees and sunny.
Thanks, Zach. Now sports. Dennis DeBanning hits this one in the air. Can it find a gap? Not quite. Willie Garcia able to track it down. Kaleo Shaw grounded out in his last at bat. He thought he'd beat the ball to first base, but was thrown out by a good play by Brandon Hernandez, so he'll get another crack at it here. First pitch right at the knees. Shaw shakes his head. Benitez gets the call. It's 0-1.
Yeah, and to start the inning, that was another good at-bat by DeBanning. A good swing inside out in the ball. The power is in the bat. It's just more of, when it's going to arrive to start getting base hits.
Kaleo Shaw takes a strike and then swings at one. He fouls it off, so now the count's 0-2. Shaw takes just outside. Check swing, called a swing by the home plate umpire. It's a strikeout for Juan Benitez. Out number 2. Juan Benitez has retired 6 straight. Connor Lewis at the dish and hits one sky high again. This one's on the infield, and it's Alex Wickett again who calls it, makes the catch. 7 straight retired by Benitez, rolling here. Another quick 1-2-3 inning from the Baycats righty. It's a 4-1 lead for Barrie here in Toronto.
1 minute on the clock. Here we go, fans. Help me count them down in 3, 2, 1, go. All right, here we go, here we go. Oh my goodness. Are the hot dogs good at least? Yeah, they are. There you go. Okay, halfway through for one. Come on, fans, make some noise, make some noise. They're trying their hardest to eat as many hot dogs as they can. We are at 15 seconds. This is insane. Let's see where we're at. We're at 3/4 here on one end, and we're still getting to half on the other. Okay. Is it difficult? It's difficult. It's very dry. Well, I'm sorry. 30 seconds, halfway through. Keep it going. Keep it going. How many can they eat? Yes, they have water as well. We are at 40 seconds, 20 seconds left here. Okay, okay. Can you finish one? That's all we ask. 45 seconds. We are down to our last 10 seconds, fans.
All right, last couple seconds here in the hot dog eating contest, and it looks like the gentleman in the camo Jays hat is going to take home the win.
I won't lie to you, Mr. West. I think Joey Chestnut would be pretty upset with that performance.
How many did he eat?
One, not even. If Joey was here.
Do you know how many he ate yesterday or today, this morning?
No, I heard he won the record.
70 and a half.
Oh, the GOAT is back.
Yeah, he 70 and a half.
Back.
If you can even call it. I mean, how many halves of hot dogs did he have in his mouth at one time? It's crazy.
Joey Chestnut is a national treasure that people need to realize.
Yeah, so now he's won that competition 17 times, I think.
Did you hear the introduction that they gave him when he returned for the first time after being suspended last year?
No.
Oh, they said some men become gods.
Yeah.
And then he walked out.
Unless you sponsor plant-based companies, and then you get suspended. That was silly, too.
We love Joey Chestnut here. Congratulations on the win, Mr. Chestnut. Now back to IBL action.
All right. New pitcher for the Toronto Maple Leafs that we thought might happen. Taylor Lepard is coming into the game. A hard-throwing right-hander for the Maple Leafs. He's going to face a tough out to start things off here in Tristan Clark. First pitch from Lepard, just outside.
I don't know if you noticed it before Lepard came in. I mentioned it last time. He has this kind of routine to warm up to, and not sure if you've ever seen the video of Paul Skeens warming up, where he has that big water jug on the back of his shoulders and he's practicing the rotation. Lepard does that over in the bullpen. I've caught it a couple times, and it just shows you dedicate so much time to your craft. These little things, your mechanics, they show on the mound. Lepard, he is one of the strongest arms in this bullpen.
This pitch is fouled off. That doesn't surprise me, though, because Taylor Lepard is a guy who's mechanically really sound. He's able to repeat that delivery over and over again really consistently. And that's the thing that I think that kind of separates the really good IBL pitchers from the average IBL pitchers, in that Taylor Lepard repeats his delivery so well, you never know what pitch is coming, because he hides the ball really well on the way to home plate, and you cannot pick it up out of his hand very well. The 1-2. On the ground to third base, and that one's going to sneak through. Tristan Clark aboard with a soft hit single to lead off the fifth.
I'm telling you, man, Tristan Clark versus the Maple Leafs. He enjoys hitting here.
That was a pretty good pitch by Taylor Lepard. Clark was way out in front, but, I mean, he did a good job just to make contact with that baseball, let alone sneak it through the infield. Yeah, he's had another good day at the plate. He's 3 for 3. Now Willie Garcia, who's 1 for 2. Takes ball 1. Big swing and a miss from Garcia. He's got some power. Couple home runs on the season. Driven in 9 runs, but struck out 22 times in the 78 at-bats he's had this year for the Baycats. And he came into this game hitting .256 for Barrie. Here's the 1-1 pitch from Lepard. Garcia hits this one in the air. This ball might be playable. Justin Mara going over there, but it drops just out of his reach.
Kind of in that no man's land territory once again.
Yeah. You know, no one was more surprised than Willie Garcia to see that that ball came even close to landing in fair territory. But it was pretty close to being a fair ball, just foul down the line. So Garcia gets another shot at it. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Great pitch by Taylor Lepard, and that's a big out, number 1.
Like you said, a good pitch by Lepard. Once again, just doing a phenomenal job on the mound.
Now Noah Hull, 0 for 2 with a couple punch-outs today. Both of those were against Matt Brown. Now he hits this one sky high, hooking foul down the line and out of play. Dos Santos, the third baseman, gave it a look. Oh, 0-1 the count on Hull, who went out aggressively at that first pitch from Taylor Lepard. On deck is Tyler Plumpton, who's had a great start to his season, and he's had a good day as well. He's 1 for 2. This is a sharp hit ball into the outfield. It gets down in front of Dennis DeBanning. He'll get it back in quickly, so runners on first and second now with 1 out here for the Baycats as they put some pressure on here in the 5th.
And again, I really like that pitch location from Lepard. Just Hull got the hands to it and just hooked it.
Tyler Plumpton's a really tough out for the Baycats. He just hits everything and had a sharp hit single right back up the middle in his last at-bat. The task doesn't get easier. Another guy who's been hitting everything, and Alex Wickett is on deck. First Plumpton as he fouls the first pitch off. 2 straight batters that have taken an aggressive swing at the first pitch from Taylor Lepard.
Again, it's an explosive fastball out of the hand, so you need to be prepared and credit these Barrie hitters. They're coming in the box with the plan of he's going to attack us with the fastball first pitch.
Two on. Lepard trying to strand him here in the 5th, but he's got lots of work to do. The 0-1 pitch fouled off by Plumpton. Man, Tyler Plumpton's really late on this Taylor Lepard fastball. I wonder how that changes his plan of attack in this at-bat.
It rises onto your hands really, really quickly, so it's tough to get a clean swing off.
Yeah, Tyler Plumpton's fine with being late, though. He's got really good contact ability. Uses his hands well, and letting the ball get deep is kind of the MO for Tyler Plumpton and what I've seen over the years. Lepard's got him on the ropes here, 0-2. This one hit right back up the middle, pretty deep. Kaleo Shaw going back, twists a couple times, now circles under it and makes the catch. Runners will hold. Kaleo Shaw on that sinking line drive had to make a tough play.
But in classic Kaleo Shaw fashion, the hat fell off as he was making the catch.
Yeah, I think he just did those twists and turns just so his hat would fall off. He's got good speed out there. He's a gamer out there for the Maple Leafs.
He's a ball player.
Yeah. Back at the beginning of June, cashed in his first IBL home run as well. Hit one over the wall in left center. Now it's the number 9 hitter and Alex Wickett. Talked to Cleo Shaw after that game when he hit his big home run, and he's a guy who's really happy about the opportunity, but not just the opportunity to play in the Intercounty Baseball League, but also play with a lot of these veteran guys on the Toronto Maple Leafs, not afraid to kind of pick their brain. Another pitch finds the zone from Lepard, so the count's now 1-1.
Yeah, and it's a really great group to learn from. When you think about how many veterans are on this team, how many players that have just made a name for themselves in the IBL. You ask them, hey, what's your strategy when you go up in this count, or when you face a guy with this kind of arsenal? And it's just big for a young player like that.
The 1-1 pitch, just inside. It's funny. Kaleo Shaw went from the guy that was up here on the hillside that came over to the broadcast booth and said, hey, do you know who Dustin Richardson is? It was his first day here with the team. And I said, yeah, he's the GM. I was like, you know what he looks like? You want me to point him out? He's like, no. I was like, it's the guy that looks like a big leaguer.
The guy that looks like he.
And now here he is. He's been playing almost every day for the Maple Leafs and doing a great job out there in the outfield. Kid's got some talent. Lepard has a look at the runner at second base. That's Tristan Clark. Two and one here on the second baseman wicket. Takes a strike on the outer half. 2-2. Another big pitch coming up for the Maple Leafs. This time it falls on the shoulders of Taylor Lepard, who's got a couple runners on here in the 5th inning. A 2-strike count on the number 9 hitter and wicket. Trying to end the inning right here. And he just misses inside and the count runs full.
I like that pitch too. That was a really good fastball in the inside half. Just did not get the call going his way.
This would not be a good time for Noel McGarry Doyle to come to the plate. He's already got a couple hits today. And one of the hottest hitters in the league as well. So here's Lepard's 3-2 pitch. And it's fouled off, and just barely getting a piece of that ball was Wickett.
He might have just barely gotten it, but fouled straight back. He is on time. That's what that means with that fastball. So it's going to be interesting to see, does Lepard go back with the fastball? Does he try to change the eye level and speed? What are the mind games going on right now in the head of number 90?
I think he's got a pretty clear plan of what he wants to do on the mound here. I'll be interested to see if John Javier has got the same pitch in mind as Taylor Lepard. Hard to tell, though, is with the runner at second base, he's throwing down a combination of signs. Well, that was a pretty quick yes from Lepard. The 3-2 pitch. And he got him! Outside corner, strike 3 called. Taylor Lepard gets out of the 5th with the punch out. It's the Barrie Baycats who lead 4-1 over Toronto. Well, welcome back to Christie Pitts. It's Zach Lamprey leading things off for the Maple Leafs. Swings at the first pitch, but comes up empty, and that's strike one. Juan Benitez has been rolling for the Baycats.
I was just about to say the exact same thing. You mentioned it last half inning. Well, 7 straight sat down by Benitez, back-to-back, 3 up, 3 down innings. He has found himself a groove, and he is just pitching beautifully right now.
54 pitches in here in the fifth. The 0-2 to Lamprey, and he fouls it off. And this is the biggest thing about the inning for Juan Benitez. 36 strikes, 19 balls now. Pounding the strike zone, but also getting a lot of strikeouts, too. The 0-2, there's another one. Gets Zach Lamprey swinging out number 1. 8 straight retired now by Benitez.
Left fielder number 14,
So make that 4 1/3 good innings from Benitez. The 1 run the Maple Leafs had was earned, but he's struck out 4. First pitch low, ball 1 to Ben Sidorenios, who put a great swing on a ball in his last at-bat, slashed one down the line. It was good for a double.
And that was the last hit given up by Benitez.
Right.
I was back in the second.
Yeah, it's crazy. You know, you're just looking at the box score right now. The BARRIE BAYCATS, most of them have had their 3rd at-bat already. Actually, everyone's had three plate appearances for BARRIE. And Ben Sidorenios is the last one to get his 2nd now, the 5th. A lot more traffic on the base pass for the BAYCATS tonight. Sidorenios is ahead in the count. It's at 2-1. Sidorenios puts another good swing on the ball and dishes it into the outfield, and he's 2 for 2.
Back-to-back at-bats for Sidorenios, where you're not trying to do too much of the plate. You understand that the pitcher's providing you all the power with the ball. All you got to do is just get the bat out there, and he does that beautifully. He gets the 2nd hit of the game.
Well, Ben Sidorenios came into this game with just 1 hit. He was 1 for 15, but you know, I just feel like that 0.66 batting average was not representative of what he's done this season. He's hit a lot of balls hard. He hasn't had very good luck in terms of the balls that he's put in play. So it's nice to see him get rewarded with a couple base knocks, but he earned both of them, hit both of them quite well. Dos Santos takes a strike at the knees.
This is an interesting time in the game for the Maple Leafs. Maybe their best chance to try to get something back here. Top of the order coming up, 1 already on.
Pick throw back to first base to have a look at Sidorenios. That pitch to Dos Santos misses, so it's 2-1. Ryan Dos Santos 1 for 2 on the day, and he struck out. Also scored a run when he was on base. Base hit by Ryan Dos Santos. Started off the ball game, came in to score. It was a big run for the Maple Leafs because they answered after the BARRIE BAYCATS. Got a couple in the top half of the first, but since then, BARRIE has added 1 in the 3rd and 1 in the 4th and opened it up here against Toronto. 2-2 on Dos Santos, and he hits a one hopper to second base, throw to first, in time, double play. Man, it looked like that ball was just hit so sharply and just barely on a hop to second base. Unfortunate for the Maple Leafs. We're trying to get something going with Ben Sidorenios reaching base with 1 away. Continues to be 4-1 BARRIE BAYCATS here in Toronto. Look at the home run leaders right now in the Intercounty Baseball League. A couple Toronto Maple Leafs in that department in the top 5, but both of them out of the lineup today. Got a lot of RBIs on the bench for the Maple Leafs today.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate, you know, obviously Connect, like we discussed earlier, he's just nursing an injury a little bit.
New pitcher into the game for the Maple Leafs, Ayami Sato takes the hill. Tough task here, though, for Sato. Top of the order coming up with Noel McGarry-Doyle, then Brandon Hernandez and Clayton Keys. First pitch, fouled off.
That was the curveball we talk about all the time. It's the slow breaker, but it has so much revs.
Yeah, when I've talked to some other players from around the league about facing Ayami Sato, they said the curveball, that's the pitch. They said it's really good. It's a really good pitch, tough to hit. The 0-1, this one's hit hard on the ground and past the glove of Dan Mara into the outfield. It's a base hit for Noel McGarry-Doyle, so some speed is aboard here for the Baycats.
Shortstop number 11, Brandon Hernandez.
Ayami Sato comes into this outing with an ERA of 11.57 in the 7 games that she's pitched this season. Good for 9 1/3 innings. Now faces Brandon Hernandez. First pitch, grounded foul towards first. Hernandez well out in front. It's not the velocity that Ayami Sato that's going to blow hitters away. It's the spin rate on her pitches. Got a curveball that's spins more than really anybody in the Intercounty Baseball League, but she's got a 5-pitch mix with the fastball and cutter, the 2 pitches that she throws firmly, and then the slow curveball, as well as a slider and a changeup. The 0-1, John Javier had a look back towards first base to see if he couldn't buy Sato an out.
I'm kind of curious, you know, watching Javier put the signs down for Sato, and, you know, does she have the curveball as her primary pitch? Learning a little bit here.
It's definitely her best pitch. The 1-1, that was the curveball, good call. And it finds the outside corner. So Sato has the 2-strike count, trying to put away Hernandez. Here's the 1-2. And strike 3 called, she got him. Throw down to second base, not in time. Great pitch from Sato to record the strikeout. But the BARRIE Baycats do get a runner into scoring position with the stolen base by McGarry-Doyle.
Again, it's that curveball, right? He just starts off high, but again, how much rev she gets on it, it's able to just drop to the bottom part of the zone.
Yeah, Brandon Hernandez got a look at a couple back-to-back curveballs there. Didn't like either of them and just couldn't pull the trigger. Now here's the number 3 hitter and the DH in Clayton Keys. First pitch from Sato. Keys hits it on the ground to third base. That gets by Ryan Dos Santos. Runner being waved home. Here's the throw from Sidorenios. It was on the money, but just a little bit late. Another run comes in to score, and it's 5-1 BARRIE.
Flying around the bases was McGarry-Doyle. You mentioned great throw by Sidorenios, but just the speed right there. McGarry-Doyle was in just ahead.
Yeah, it was a good throw from the outfield. It was just a bit late. I don't think there was much chance to get the runner at home plate, especially with that speed, as you mentioned, of Noel McGarry-Doyle. Now it's Nolan Macabroda. First pitch, Macabroda rips it right back up the middle for a base hit. Fielded by Shaw, gets it back in quickly. Runners at first and second now with one out. Here for the Baycats facing Sato.
Left fielder number 6, Tristan Clark.
Well, Tristan Clark, the former 30th round pick of the Washington Nationals back in 2016, comes to the plate. Sato just had a look back there at Dan Mara to know who was covering second base. And a slow curveball finds the zone, strike one.
Inside half right there.
That's a good pitch from Sato. Every time she's thrown it this outing, it's been a good result. She's either got a strikeout or a called strike. The 0-1. Back to the fastball, and how about that? Tristan Clark was late sitting on that curveball. See, that's the thing with Yami Sato out there, is that she can think the game just as well as anybody. She's a pitcher out there.
Yeah, she has a really good baseball mind. Understands the game very, very well. Understands her abilities really when it comes to pitching and what she's able to do on the mound.
The 0-2 pitch to Clark. In the dirt. It gets by Javier. That's going to allow one run to move up 90 feet, and the second as well. A little bit of a late read by Nolan Macabroda at first base, but the ball did get all the way at the backstop, so now there's two in scoring position. Sato really needs a strikeout here against Clark. Yami Sato, a 6-time World Cup champ, playing with Team Japan. Now 35 years old and playing in the Intercounty Baseball League. The 1-2 pitch just misses. Not only did Sato win the World Championship 6 times, she was also the MVP of Team Japan in 2018, 16, and 14. Such a big part of that Japanese national program. The 2-2. That one just misses as well. When Ayami Sato is done playing baseball here in the Intercounty Baseball League, she's going to head back to Japan, play with her club team there, and then with the Women's Professional Baseball League getting off the ground next year, she's going to be the big star over in that league.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to watch that for sure.
3-2 on Clark. Here it comes from Sato. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Another punch out for Ayami Sato, and there's 2 away.
Backed 2 Ks in the inning, I should say. Really good job for Sato here. This is the at-bat I'm very interested in seeing. A former MLBer going up against a pitcher with the resume of Sato.
Right fielder number 4.
This will be a fascinating matchup here with Willie Garcia. And for Yami Sato, she knows that she is one batter away from getting through a bounce-back outing. Gave up some home runs in her last outing. Now trying to build some confidence here against the Baycats. First pitch to Garcia, ball 1. Yami Sato wasn't able to get out of her inning of work in the game against the Hamilton Cardinals. That was part of a blowout loss that Hamilton beat Toronto here. But she's definitely showed her flashes of brilliance. Went 2 scoreless innings, perfect innings, in her debut against the Kitchener Panthers. Just brilliant on opening day. The 1-0 pitch, low. Ball 2 now. She's fallen behind Willie Garcia, and this makes the matchup a little bit tougher.
Be interesting to see what she goes with here. If she tries to sneak a fastball low or if she goes back to her main pitch with that curveball.
Here's the 2-0. That one finds the zone. Strike 1. Here's the 2-1 pitch to Willie Garcia. And it's hit in the air. This one's crushed towards center field, and that one is gone. Off the rooftop of the concession stand. That blows things open here for the Baycats in the 6th.
Yeah, Willie got every stitch of that, sat back, and you said it, right off of the concession stand out in center field.
Yeah, that ball was squared up. In fact, it went to dead center, but it was actually slicing off the bat of Willie Garcia. On a line to center, and that is a big swing for the Baycats. Barrie now leads 8-1. Yeah, we were fascinated to see how that was going to go, right? Willie Garcia, as professional a hitter as they go, and you know, if there's anyone that's going to deal with the different look that Yami Sato brings to the dish, it would be Willie Garcia. And he was patient, he waited for his pitch, and then eventually he got it. And you know, that's kind of what happens, I guess, when you fall behind in the count.
Yeah, it's tough. Again, with a player like Willie Garcia understanding hitting so well, he was the highest level possible in the majors.
The 0-1. This one's tapped on the ground towards Dan Mara at second base. He throws to first in time, and the inning will end. But a big swing from Willie Garcia. It was a 3-run home run to center field, and the Barrie Baycats lead 8-1 in Toronto. Well, the Barrie Baycats finally broke it open with a big inning. They were knocking on the door for the first 5 innings, and then the big 3-run home run by Willie Garcia cracks this one open for the Baycats. They have a 7-run lead over Toronto, who are now going to have some work to do.
Yeah, it's going to be tough with how well Benitez has been so far today. I mean, he really has all of his stuff working.
Dan Mara leads off with some hard contact out to left, but right into the glove of Tristan Clark. Man, Mara's hit a couple baseballs pretty well today, but just hasn't got anything to show for it.
pitcher number 77, John Javier.
John Javier, who has his batting average sitting at .402 on this season, so that makes this at-bat extra important, doesn't it,
So
right?
he's been a little cold lately.
Yeah. Well, he's 0 for 2 today.
No,
Can't
with how high that batting average has
Yeah.
been since he's become a Leaf.
The 1-0, big swing by Javier, fouls it off.
And he doesn't get cheated.
Nope.
We say it time and time again. He does not get cheated at the plate.
John Javier, one of the imports out of the Dominican Republic. It started out as kind of an experiment. Angel Castro recommended John Javier to the Toronto Maple Leafs, said, hey, you should give this guy a look. So the Maple Leafs was like, all right, he's kind of young, 2003 born player, one of the youngest guys on this team, but, I guess, we'll give him a try in an import spot. And he's become maybe the best import the Toronto Maple Leafs side as he hits one hard on the ground to third, foul. Oh, that was close, but just foul. Not just one of the best imports the Maple Leafs have on the team this year. He's been this is one of the best starts to the season by anybody for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
It's definitely been something to watch. It's just fun. He brings a lot of energy and the versatility that I've talked about numerous times. It's just such a treasure to watch.
Hitting for a high average. He has 19 RBIs. That's among the league leaders. He has 5 home runs. That's tied for 5th in the Intercounty Baseball League. And the batting average, he's top 5 as well. Now he swings and misses at that pitch. He got a great pitch from Benitez, who gets the tough out in Javier.
First baseman number 9, Justin Mara.
Justin Mara comes to the dish. The 1-0 pitch. That one misses 2-0. This is where Justin Mara does damage when he gets ahead in the count.
Walk to start the game.
The 0-2, oh, just missed it as he pops it straight back. Justin Mara liked that pitch. It was maybe just a little bit outside his zone. Justin Mara, former draft pick back in 2011 by the Chicago Cubs in the 15th round. Hits this one in the air to left field, and it's off the wall. Mara making the turn around first base. Here comes the throw into second, and Mara in there standing up as he puts on the brakes quickly.
The blazing speed almost had him falling off of second there, but nice hit by Mara. You said he does his damage when he's ahead in the count. Does a really good job there of waiting for his pitch. He gets it, smokes it to the opposite side.
Yeah, you can see a big smile on his face as he's talking to Rando Moreno, who
first base coach.
who's acting as the first base coach today. Rando Moreno just dealing with a little bit of an arm injury, so the Maple Leafs hopeful to have him back soon. Dennis DeBanning hits this one on the ground to short. Another good play from Brandon Hernandez. Yeah, sure. Why not? What a play. Dennis DeBanning thought he had himself an infield hit, and you know what? He probably should have. That took another great throw from the Barrie Baycats shortstop. So the Maple Leafs failed to score in the inning. They've got lots of work to do, but the Barrie Baycats are coming up, leading 8-1. Ayami Sato back on the mound for the Toronto Maple Leafs, trying to get through a second inning of work. Nearly got through a pretty good frame back in the 6th, but the Willie Garcia home run kind of ruined that. And now faces Tyler Plumpton. Plumpton takes strike 1.
Again, that curveball, she has it working. Just gotta find something to mix it in with here.
The 0-1. Plumpton hits it in the air. Kaleo Shaw on the run, gives way to DeBanning, who comes over and makes the catch. Man, talk about a guy who hasn't got rewarded for as much hard contact as he's had today. Tyler Plumpton, another hard hit ball, but that one's going to be an out. He is 1 for 4, though. One of his hard hit singles did get down.
The
8-9 hitters in this lineup, they've been really good tonight for the side of Barrie. Plumpton and Wicket.
Yeah, Wicket, like Plumpton, is another guy with a lot of contact ability. His strikeout today was just his 2nd so far this season. He's had 23 at-bats. He's only struck out twice. The 0-1 from Sato. This one's dished out towards left field. It's down and it's in a gap. It rolls towards the wall. Kaleo Shaw has to get it. It was sitting right up against the fence. Wicket going for third. Here's the throw in time. They got him. Ryan Dos Santos slaps the tag down. A great relay by the Toronto Maple Leafs infield. And that's out number 2.
Yeah, I mean, Kaleo Shaw got that ball in on a line. Lampera, beautiful turn and quick throw, and slapping the tag down was Dos Santos.
Center fielder number 95, Noel Doyle.
So 2 away on the inning. Here's Noel McGarry Doyle. This was the first batter that Sato had to face in the 6th. I didn't see Sato's reaction on that play at third base. Did you see? Was she fired up? Yeah. That's one of the things that she's been complimented for a lot by her teammates. She is a really good teammate. Always supportive of what everyone else is doing. If there's a great defensive play behind her, she's the first one to give a fist pump or a high five or whatnot. Here's the 1-1 to McGarry Doyle. Swing and a miss. Whew, that was some sharp late movement on that pitch from Sato.
Yeah, it just goes up out of the hand, but again, because of how fast she's able to rev it, just drops to the bottom of the zone before it even gets there.
The 1-2 pitch, just outside. John Javier tried a couple times to pull that ball back in the strike zone. Not on this occasion. But it's still 2-2. Sato has the count at her disposal to do what she likes with McGarry Doyle here on the 2-2 pitch. And it's chopped on the ground. It's Dos Santos at third base who picks it up, fires over to first in time to get the out. Gets the fist pump from Sato on the way out, and that's a scoreless 1-2-3 frame, if you like, from Ayami Sato after the runner was thrown out at third base. 8-1 Baycats here in the 7th. wild scenes in Hamilton right now. They're on the out-of-town
Is that John
scoreboard.
Cena?
I don't know, maybe.
Was he making a pit stop one final time gracing Hamilton, Ontario? If you couldn't tell, that's what he says every time he visits the city.
Yeah,
now.
if you couldn't tell, I said, I don't know, I couldn't see.
Oh.
Guess we both threw one over each other's heads.
I was too far into the bit.
Kaleo Shaw, a chopper to short. Hernandez, oh my goodness. He fired that ball over to first base to get the out.
I'm really curious to see the arm speed out of Hernandez.
Yeah, how fast was that?
Designated hitter number 26.
Kaleo Shaw's got great speed running down the line. And, yeah, Brandon Hernandez just leaned into it and got it to first base.
That's the 4th ground ball hit to him, and they have just all been bullets across the diamond.
So here's Connor Lewis. Taken all the way, and it's strike one. The 0-1 pitch in the dirt. Lewis takes outside. Connor Lewis is 0 for 2 today. He's popped up straight to the second baseman in his last 2 at-bats. The 2-1 pitch. Lewis swings over top of it. Zach Lamprey on deck for the Maple Leafs. The 2-2 to Lewis, and he hits one down the line. Fair ball just inside the chalk. Connor Lewis rounds first base. He's heading for second. Ball picked up in the outfield by Tristan Clark. He gets it back in, and Connor Lewis has himself a sharp hit double.
Good piece of hitting right there by Connor Lewis. He gets the fastball on the inside. He just turns on it quickly. And a good job done by the first base coach, Randall Moreno. He gets out there quick for his team.
Yeah, Connor Lewis was ready to go to third, but Randall said, no.
He says, this is my job.
I got this. This is the number 8 hitter for the Maple Leafs. It's Zach Lamprey. Lamprey 0 for 2 with a couple punch-outs today. Juan Benitez delivers just outside. Benitez has just been rolling for his side, Barrie, today. 6 1/3 innings. 7 hits, but just the 1 earned run.
It just seems like he's started to throw a lot harder as the game's gone on.
Barrie Baycats have got the best pitching so far in the Intercounty Baseball League, and it hasn't even really been close. They lead the league in ERA as a team. There's the 1-1 on Lamprey. Swing and a miss. 1-2. Lamprey hits one on the ground. Lewis holds his ground at second base and eats up Brandon Hernandez. He still throws a cannon to first base, but this time it's not in time, and Lamprey is safe at first.
Yeah, and again, it ate up Hernandez, but he still makes a strong throw over, and it's still a close play at first. Credit Lamprey for just hustling out of the box.
Left fielder number 14, Ben Cintarino.
It's been a great day at the plate for Ben Sidorenios. He's 2 for 2, a double to start things, then a single in his last at-bat. And Ben Sidorenios, if he can keep the line moving, then there might be a conversation here for the Toronto Maple Leafs. But they're down by 7 runs. They need lots of base runners. The 0-1, Sidorenios takes a strike, and the count's 1-1.
He's the only one that's been able to figure out Benitez so far today. 2 hits and 2 plate appearances.
The 1-1 pitch. That one misses as well. Sidorenios ahead in the count. Ben Sidorenios had 1 hit coming into today in his IBL career in 15 at-bats. He's already 2 for 2. And the 1-2 from Benitez. Fouled off. Looks like Brad Grieveson is starting to get things wound up in the bullpen. Starting to go through his stretching routine.
The way he was swinging his arms, you weren't kidding. He really was getting wound up.
Yeah.
Great stretching.
Arm circles now too.
There.
Yeah, he's getting loose. The 2-1. Upstairs. Good take. Count actually now full, I think, now on Sidorenios. Three and 2 with 1 out here in the bottom of the 7th. A couple runners on base. The pitch from Benitez. Outside, ball 4, and the bases are loaded. Back to the top of the order, and Ryan Dos Santos.
Firstly, gotta credit Ben Sidorenios. 3 at-bats, reached base 3 times against a guy in Benitez who's just been on fire today.
Yeah, Juan Benitez has been pounding the strike zone. He's got through some good innings, but what he does here in these next couple batters, or if he's lucky, the next batter will define really his outing. Which is unfortunate because to this point he's pitched really well. He's at 95 pitches, well within his range. First pitch to Dos Santos takes strike 1. Man, Benitez got to the plate really quickly there. Dos Santos usually takes the first pitch, so that might not have mattered, but came set for a split second. The 0-1. Dos Santos lines it into the outfield, and that one gets down for a hit. It's going to roll all the way to the wall. This is going to cash in a couple runs for the Maple Leafs. They're sending the 3rd run as well. The throw to the plate is offline, and it's a 3-run double for Ryan Dos Santos.
He waited back on that Benitez fastball, takes it the other way, and ropes it for a bases-clearing double. Big play out of your leadoff man right there, number 8.
That ball probably should have been cut off by Tristan Clark in the outfield. It ended up getting by him. The official score, though, is a double for Dos Santos. But that ball getting by Clark is what allowed all 3 runs to come in to score. It probably would have scored a couple.
It was scoring 2 guaranteed. Lamprey was hustling around the bases. He almost caught up to Connor Lewis at 3rd.
Ball was smashed the other way by Dos Santos. He's got a couple hits today. Now it's Dan Mara trying to cash in Dos Santos, who's at second base. And Dan takes inside. Now he's ahead in the count. See, this is what I mean by that at-bat was going to define Benitez's outing. At first it was brilliant. Through 6 innings, just 1 earned run, and now he might give up another one. Dan Mara dished it into the outfield. Dos Santos getting the wave home. Here's the throw to the plate offline, and the Maple Leafs score another one. Now Dan Mara is hung up. He gets thrown out on his way back to first base, but he does drive in a run, and it's 8-5. And now Brian Sewell is out of the dugout. Dan Mara, I think, saying that he wasn't tagged on his way back to first base.
Or there was interference of him trying to get back to the base.
Right. Yeah, Dan is furious here with the umpire.
Thing is, though, Dan has to be careful here because, again, the Leafs are short-staffed tonight.
And tomorrow as well. So I think that was what Brian Sewell sprinted out of the dugout. By the way, that 60-yard dash was friggin' brilliant from Brian Sewell coming out of the dugout.
Can we get a time on that?
Yeah, he was flying.
Well, things get interesting here. 7th inning, 3-run ball game. The Leafs have given themselves a little spark.
And Benitez still out there. So, yeah, you think Dan was arguing the call that he couldn't get by the first baseman on his way back.
That would be my best guess. It's just the way that the first baseman kind of came back towards it, blocked the lane, but I don't know. On those plays, it's always a 50-50. You never really know how to call it because both players are just trying to make a play at the bag.
Well, still a wildly successful at-bat from Dan Mara. Drives in Ryan Dos Santos. That was his job. Now there's 2 away in the inning. 3-0 pitch here to John Javier, and I think he's got the green light. There's in the dirt, ball 4. Nothing to swing at, and here comes Justin Mara. Well, see, this kind of changes the situation here for the Barrie Baycats. Brad Grieveson, I think, is still the guy warming up down there in the bullpen, but this is a tight game here for Barrie. They were thinking maybe, Grieveson comes in, see if he can finish out the ball game, but, you might have to start getting Sano loose now, and, well, the time is now. Brad Grieveson is coming into the ball game. We'll take a quick break and be right back. Justin Mara coming to the dish. All of a sudden, a 3-run ball game as the Toronto Maple Leafs have scored some runs here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Justin Mara hits one on the ground, and this one gets through into the outfield. With 2 outs in the inning, the Toronto Maple Leafs and Justin Mara keep it alive.
Yeah, and Mara just immediately knows, just jump on that first pitch. He does just that, hits it through the hole on that right side. And this is where things get interesting. Dennis DeBanning has hit 3 hard balls all over the field. He's 1 for 3 on the day. But he has had 3 really good at-bats, and that's something you want to see for the Maple Leafs. Dennis DeBanning was somebody, his name was thrown around a lot preseason because of the trade that happened with Hamilton. Big spot for number 19.
Yeah, he had a great start to the season, then just cooled off, and now it feels like he's starting to find that swing again. The Maple Leafs, though, need a huge swing at a DeBanning here. Here's the 1-0 from Brad Grieveson. DeBanning swings and misses.
Looks like Grieveson flipped the switch on him there, went with an off speed. DeBanning was sitting back, waiting for that fastball.
5 1/3 innings on the season for Brad Grieveson, has struck out 6 batters. He's got an ERA of 6.75. Here's the 1-1 to Dennis. And he swings and misses again. Trying to pull that baseball there on the first 2 pitches, and maybe on the 2-strike approach, he tries to take that ball the other way again. Brad Grieveson knows, though, that Dennis DeBanning has had some opposite field hits today. He's pounding him inside. DeBanning's going to call time. Dennis DeBanning with a couple home runs, 10 RBIs on the season for the Maple Leafs. He's got a couple ducks on the pond here for Toronto. Would love to cash one of them in. This one's hit on the ground and up the middle, base hit. Javier's coming home and he scores.
And that's got to feel amazing for DeBanning. A massive fist bump as he rounds first base, gets a big hit in a big-time moment. Leafs, they're threatening here in the 7th.
That is a big hit from Dennis DeBanning. He's had a really good day at the plate, hit some balls hard. He's got himself a couple knocks. And he came up in a big spot there for the Maple Leafs. It's a 2-run ball game here in the bottom of the 7th. There is some life here at Christie Pitts. Kaleo Shaw takes a slow breaking ball in there for a strike.
Well, they've batted around here, partner. Kaleo Shaw started this inning off with that ground ball and the bullet across the diamond from Hernandez, and the man that got this offense rolling was on deck in Connor Lewis.
Yeah, Lewis ripped a double down the line. Big moment here for Kaleo Shaw. It's 0 for 3 on the day. The 1-1 pitch. Shaw takes a strike, 1 and 2. Remember, the Maple Leafs shorthanded today when it comes to the batting lineup side of things, and they're putting together a gutsy effort here against this Barrie Baycats team. The 1-2 now. Shaw takes well outside. It was a great start from Juan Benitez, but they figured him out right around the 95 pitch mark. They touched him up for a couple runs, and now Brad Grieveson is trying to get the Baycats out of this inning and keep the lead in his favor. Shaw takes slow.
Close pitch and a really gutsy take out of Shaw. Didn't agree with the strike 2 call there, but this is a big one. Runners on the move, full count here. Grieveson, this is about to be maybe the biggest pitch of the game.
It's been a 5-run inning for the Maple Leafs so far in the 7th, but they want to strike while the iron's hot. Here's Grieveson's pitch to Kaleo Shaw, and it's a swing and a miss, strike 3. Brad Grieveson climbs the ladder, gets the strikeout, but a wildly successful inning when it's all said and done for the Maple Leafs as they score 5, and we got a ball game here at Christie Pitts. 8-6 Barrie. Back here at Dominico Field, a big inning for the Maple Leafs in the bottom of the 7th. They scored 5 times, and now Jeremy Newton is into the game. Newton, an ERA of 3.85, has been one of the good high-leverage relievers in the Maple Leafs bullpen this season. Newton last pitched in that game against the London Majors. The Maple Leaf lost the game, but Jeremy Newton had a great 1-2-3 inning as part of his outing.
Things have gotten interesting here at Dominico Field.
Really the only outing that has raised the ERA of Jeremy Newton at all was last time the Barrie Baycats were here at Dominico Field. He was asked to stretch it out for 2 1/3 innings and gave up a couple earned runs. Other than that, he's been really just brilliant for this Maple Leafs team this season.
He's been really one of the mainstays in this Maple Leafs bullpen. He's doing a really good job every time he gets called upon.
Here's the 3-1 on the shortstop, Brandon Hernandez. Hernandez fouls it straight back. Count 3-2. Brandon Hernandez 1 for 4 this evening. Newton's battled back in the count. Now it's 3-2. That one's outside, ball 4, so Brandon Hernandez will lead off the inning with a walk.
Brandon Hernandez has just been a pain in the side of the Leafs all day long, whether it be with his glove or just at bat. He's just had a really solid day all around today.
Yeah, he's had an impressive day defensively at shortstop. Man, can he ever gun the ball over there to first base with accuracy too? I mean, all those hard throws have been right on the money. Clayton Keys at the dish, takes ball 1. Clayton Keys has had a great day at the plate. He's 3 for 4. He's scored twice. He's driven in 3 runs. And he's raised that batting average now to .333. The 1-0 from Newton. Swing and a miss. Pick throw back to first base. And back in there is Brandon Hernandez.
Good little snap throw there by Javier.
John Javier's really versatile. I mean, being an infielder for this Maple Leafs team probably helps him with getting that quick transfer and throw down to first base. He's played some third base. In fact, his position for the IBL voting, All-Star voting ballot is a third baseman.
Is it third now? It was outfield for the longest time.
Yeah.
When it first got open.
The 1-1. Strike 2 on the outer half. Hard to imagine many people leaving him off the IBL All-Star ballot.
Oh, he's just been so good. And it's hard to think that he won't get the votes.
One and 2. Newton ahead in the count here on Clayton Keys. Hernandez the runner at first. Broken bat, flare, Dan Mara going over, makes the catch, throws to first, in time, double play. Great catch by Mara, and Brandon Hernandez got caught in no man's land on the base paths, and there's 2 away.
First baseman number 20, Nolan Macabrona.
So finally, Keys able to be retired, and now Nolan Macabrona comes to the plate. That was a broken bat flare, tough if you're the runner, Hernandez, because if that ball drops, you want to make sure you get to second base. But if it gets caught, Boy, you don't want to be very far off the bag because Dan Mara did not have a very long throw to get it over there.
It's just a tough play in general as the base runner. You really don't know what to do there, but Mara, credit him. That last effort, the last extend, able to get the glove to the ball.
The 0-1 in the dirt, and the count's level at 1-1. Yeah, it's tough, right? Because if Brandon Hernandez was any closer to first base and that ball drops in the outfield, he's probably cooked at second base. He's going to get thrown out. It's going to be a force out, and it's going to be an unfortunate fielder's choice for the batter.
It's a big 50-50 play.
The 1-1 pitch in the dirt again.
Really, in the mind of Hernandez, it's do you gamble, getting out at second base, or do you gamble the double play out at first? It's just a hard decision all around.
2-1 now on Nolan Macabrota. And now it's 2-2 because Macabrota fouls it off to the left. Nolan Macabrota is 1 for 4 today. Tristan Clark, who has a couple hits against the Leafs again, is on deck. Here's Newton's 2-2. Up and away, and the count runs full. Macabrota, with his 3 home runs on the season, is also in the big number, 20 RBIs to go along with it. Now the full count pitch from Jeremy Newton, and it's fouled off. Macabrota out in front and just got a piece.
Good adjustment there by Newton. The last pitch before the strike right there, he finished arm high, and again, it was just him not finishing down with the pitch. That fastball there, he finishes down. Macabrota, he gets underneath it a little bit, but that's a really good adjustment live on the mound by Newton.
He's going to have to find the zone again here. 3-2 to Macabrota. And he just missed outside. Missed with a fastball by a couple inches, and Macabrota will head down to first base.
Close, but no cigar. I mean, these Maple Leaf pitchers have just barely been missing that outside corner. John Javier, he thinks they have it almost every single time.
So that'll bring Tristan Clark to the plate. He's been a dangerous hitter against the Maple Leafs. He's got 2 hits today. Had a couple in the last game he faced Toronto as well, including a homer. Clark has 5 RBIs in the last 2 games against Toronto. The 1-0 pitch. That misses as well, 2-0. Now, Jeremy Newton in this outing, although he's been effective, he's missed the strike zone more than he's hit it. 12 balls, just 7 strikes. The 2-0 to Clark. And he missed again. That one was also close by the reaction of John Javier, who turns around and asks for some forgiveness on the strike zone from the home plate umpire. 3-0 the count. Now he's battling for his pitcher, Jeremy Newton. Trying to get everything he can get. The 3-0 pitch. Clark swinging, and he pops it up. Dan Mara, long run, and it's just out of his reach. Did everything he could to get to that baseball, but it just wasn't playable.
I mean, hey, credit the effort. That was an amazing, amazing chance. I think the only thing he really could have done to make sure he made the catch was dive, but still, full-out sprint. What a job done.
Yeah, I think even so is probably out of his reach. He also would have been diving into the bullpen catcher, too. The 3-1. High chopper on the ground to third. Dos Santos has it. Guns it over to first in time, and that'll do it. Jeremy Newton gets through a scoreless frame to piggyback off the 5-run inning put up by the Maple Leafs. They've got 6 outs to work with, but they're in a lot better position now than they were an inning ago. It's 8-6 Barrie. Braden Pakala into the game for the Barrie Baycats here. He's been one of the high leverage guys in the bullpen. He's been good this year. In 5 games, an ERA of 2.07 and 8 2/3 innings pitched. Struck out 7 batters over that stretch, only walked 2 and given up 11 hits. Now playing in his 2nd season with the Barrie Baycats and facing Connor Lewis to lead things off.
Interesting to see the lefty coming in here, especially with all the righties up. All the lefties are at the top of the order right now for the Maple Leafs.
Yeah, and that's a good point, but I think it just speaks to the trust that the Barrie Baycats have in Braden Pakala this season. He's, this is the guy that they want to protect a 2-run lead and turn it over to Sano in the 9th. Lewis fouls it off.
And I think the Maple Leafs, they know, where they're sitting right now in the game, who's looming in the bullpen. They want to tack on the 2 right here, make this as much pressure onto the Barrie Baycats as possible.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Good pitch from Pakala, but Plumpton has to complete the strikeout by throwing down to first base, and that's out number 1. We'll see who's available out of the bullpen for Barrie tonight. It was a kind of a bullpen day their last time out against the Guelph Royals. That was a game that was yesterday, but they only had to use 3 pitchers and none of their late inning high leverage guys. You'd think that Carlos Sano is one of the guys that's still in the mix there in the bullpen. 4 guys listed on the lineup sheet that are still in play.
It looks like Sano's starting to slow toss over there.
The 1-1 is outside, 2-1 now to Lempreya. Lempreya swings and misses. The count's now 2-2. Zach Lamprey is 0 for 3 today at the plate. Takes strike 3 called. 2 away.
Well, here comes the hottest Maple Leaf on the day. Ben Sederidios.
Sure is. 2 for 2. Walked in his last at-bat. It was a great at-bat too, wasn't it? Battled in the count.
Walked, later on scored on that big 3 RBI double from Dos Santos.
Takes a pitch painted over the outside corner from Pakala. Now swings over the top of that one, and the count's 0-2. Pakala is just at 11 pitches in the inning. And he's got Sidorenios in an 0-2 hole. Pakala's 0-2 in the dirt. Blocked by Plumpton. Looked like the Maple Leafs were down and out in this game, and came back with a 7 spot, or a 5 spot in the 7th. Pitch up and away to Sidorenios. Now it's a 2-run game, but with the first 2 outs being retired in order here from Pakala, it does feel like the Maple Leafs are starting to get pinched by the outs that they have remaining right now. It's 4 of them. Boy, Sidorenios really reached out to get to that baseball, and he stays alive.
Yeah, you really just got to keep the pressure on Barrie right now. That's the key thing if you're the Maple Leafs hitters.
The 2-2. Downstairs. Boy, Sidorenios has worked another good AB. The 3-2 pitch to Sidorenios, and he hits it in the air. This one's to center field. Backtracking a few steps is Noel McGarry-Doyle, and he makes the catch, and that'll end the inning. Maple Leafs with 3 outs to work with here in Toronto. They trail by 2 to the Baycats. New pitcher into the game for the Maple Leafs is Eugene Lee, and Asafa Jones is going to get an at-bat here in the top of the 9th as well.
Comes in to hit for Willie Garcia.
Now,
like something
flew into his eye or something.
What a night of baseball it's been. I mean, Barrie opened up the floodgates in the 6th off that Willie Garcia home run. It was 8-1, and then the 5 runs scored in the 7th. What a job done for the Leafs.
Eugene Lee's first pitch is in there for a strike to Jones. The 0-1 pitch inside goes to the backstop. Jones backs out of the way.
How big would it be here for Eugene Lee just to work a clean inning, get the bats back as soon as possible, top of the order? And I think it'll be, not seeing Sano warming up here.
This one's lined into the outfield, down for a hit. Asafa Jones, who came in as a pinch hitter, is 1 for 1. That'll bring up Noah Hull, a Toronto, Ontario native.
Hull 1 for 4 on the day. He started the day off with 2 strikeouts. Back in the 5th, he had that single and then grounded out to Dan Mara in his last at-bat.
Baycats looking for some tack-on runs here if they can get them. Yeah, with Sano not warming up, that probably means that Braden Pakala is back in the mix for the next inning.
As we say, that Sano's taking off the
Oh,
hoodie
okay.
and he's starting to throw.
Okay, so it was just I guess his routine was just with, no, I don't know.
Way to batter.
Never mind, never
that
mind.
was the routine.
Hull hits this one in the air, but I think he got it off the end of the bat. Yeah, it's shallow and caught by Dennis Devaney.
These next 2 hitters are mightily important to get for Eugene Lee, not 8-9, but they're also 2 of the dangerous hitters. They've been putting up some solid at-bats all night long, especially Alex Wickett, who's sitting there on deck.
Well, Tyler Plumpton, if they can get him to hit a ball on the ground, certainly would be a double play candidate. That might be what's in the back of the mind of Eugene Lee right now, who's on the mound for the Maple Leafs. His first pitch to Tyler Plumpton, the catcher. Hit on the ground to Dos Santos at third base. Flips to second for 1. On to first. In time, double play. Eugene Lee gets through a great frame for the Maple Leafs. And they have 2 runs to try and get back. Last chance. 3 outs remaining. Bottom of the 9th coming up here in Toronto. Well, the stage is set here in the bottom of the ninth, isn't it, Zach? Ryan Dos Santos, the leadoff hitter for the Maple Leafs, coming out. The big gun out of the bullpen, and Carlos Sano on the mound for the Barrie Baycats. 2 runs, that's what the Maple Leafs need here in the bottom of the ninth. First pitch, Dos Santos takes strike 1.
And it's also been Dos Santos who's had a big night. That big 3 RBI double. He used the first run back in the first.
The 0-1 pitch, swing and a miss by Dos Santos. Yeah, Ryan Dos Santos had a big at-bat in his last one. Drove in 3 for the Maple Leafs. Was the catalyst of that 5-run inning. The Barrie Baycats did not want to get to this situation to have to use Carlos Sano. As Dos Santos fouls one off, as well as Pakala in this game. Another 0-2 to Ryan Dos Santos. Outside, ball 1. Next up, a home game for the Barrie Baycats tomorrow against London. Sano's 1-2 in the dirt. 2-2.
How many times have we seen this year where Dos Santos goes down 0-2 and he's able to work it back to even?
Here's Sano's 2-2 pitch. Dos Santos fouls it off, and he just got a piece.
Staying alive, that's the name of the game right now against Sano. Rarely does he ever make mistakes on the mound.
Yeah, Ryan's being selective at the plate here. Just waiting to see if Carlos Sano gives him something he can hit. The 2-2. And strike 3 called on a pitch on the inner half, and that's out number 1. That's a big way to start the inning for Carlos Sano.
Yeah, Sano, I mean, just such a presence on the mound. That booming fastball.
Well, Carlos Sano looking for 2 more outs. That'll make it a 5-game winning streak for the Barrie Baycats if they can get it. Great way to roll into the month of July. Maple Leafs snap their Dan Mara, who was already angry about the out call at first base a couple innings ago, now has words for the home plate umpire about that first strike call. Maple Leafs have a quick turnaround. Tomorrow at 2 o'clock, they play the Kitchener Panthers right here at Christie Pitts. The 0-1. Mara takes in the dirt. Counts now 1-1.
Yeah, you can kind of see the frustrations on the Maple Leaf side with the strike zone today. A lot of players, after that strike 1 was called, standing up, just making their opinions known.
The 1-1. Fouled off. Well, Dan Mara had a nice cap to that 5-run inning. He drove in Ryan Dos Santos, who had doubled from second base. Maple Leafs snapped their losing streak last time out against the Welland Jackfish. Now here in a 2-game and 2-day homestand against the Barrie Baycats. Dan Mara trying to give the Maple Leafs some life. The 1-2 in the dirt.
He called time before the pitch.
Oh. Huh.
I mean, Snow did the right thing. You don't stop your motion. You just kind of continue through it.
So now the 1-2. Oh, strike 3 called. And there's 2 away. Obviously, I can't see where that pitch was from here, but my reaction was just the umpire kind of stopped and then buckled him with the strike 3 call. He might have had a little bit of attitude behind the plate, too, after the protest by Dan Mara on the first pitch. So now John Javier, who takes a huge swing at the first pitch, and that's strike 1.
Javier doesn't get cheated.
He does not. Baycats trying to get one more out. The 0-1 to Javier. Javier pops it up. This one, I think that's going to hook out of play. Yeah, it's up on the hillside.
Hit off the bike rail and just bullet up the hill.
John Javier has a 9-game hit streak on the line right now. He's 0 for 3 today. Here's the 0-2 pitch from Carlos Sano. Fouled off by Javier. Man, that was a good pitch, and John Javier went out and got it.
Made a good swing on a really difficult pitch. And that's just kind of the MO of John Javier.
Way out in front of Javier is Sano. The 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and that's the ball game. The Barrie Baycats hold on, and they win it by a final score of 8-6.
It was a big 7th inning for the Maple Leafs, and it really made this game interesting in the last 3 innings. But Barrie, they've been playing a great brand of baseball lately, and they continue that here at Dominico Field.
Yeah, Toronto Maple Leafs came into this game. They knew they were short some of their big guns, and you know what? They put up a good effort, didn't they? The 5-run inning really showed some life. It was really the bottom of the order that kind of sparked things. They got it back to Dos Santos, who had the big hit, but for the Barrie Baycats, really the big swing was Willie Garcia and the home run off of Sato, and that ended up being the difference.
Yeah, and we'd said it was going to be a really interesting matchup to see between those two, and well, it didn't disappoint. It was a good matchup.
Lots of hits. Pretty concise ball game when it was all said and done at Christie Pitts. The Barrie Baycats 8 runs on 17 hits and 1 error. The Toronto Maple Leafs 6 runs, 11 hits, and 2 errors on the day. For myself, Thomas West, as well as Zach Benoit, thanks for tuning in. And it's a quick turnaround. We'll see you tomorrow at 2 p.m. here at the Pits.